Hello everybody and welcome to the Bears live stream of the Vitality T20 Blast here at Edgbaston. It's the fourth match for the Bears today as they take on the Leicestershire Wolves. A fantastic run so far, 3 wins out of 3. They're hoping to make it 4 today. Now before we move on with anything else today, we're going to get the toss happening. I've got the umpires and the players briefing at the moment. I'm going to let Elizabeth come in and take over from me, but I'll let you know that the umpires for today's game are Ian Blackwell and Paul Pollard. The captains, of course, are making their way over. It's, of course, Colin Ackerman of Leicestershire and Carlos Brathwaite of the Birmingham Bears. Over to you, Elizabeth.
Carlos, do you want to give the coin a spin? Okay, so the coin toss has happened. Carlos, can you tell us what you're going to do today?
We've lost the toss and we're in the field first.
Okay, so you're going to field first. Birmingham Bears are going to field first. The Leicestershire Foxes will be batting. Now, Birmingham Bears have had 3 wins from 3 so far. You must be feeling confident going into today's match.
Yeah, confident and I guess happy with the start, but we're also very well aware that this game starts from 0, so no complacency and no, I guess, counting a victory before it happens. We're very much prepared, thinking about the processes that we would have done going into those 3 games to win them, and hopefully we could get a similar result. But I think the most important thing is to continue being consistent with our preparation.
Now, Chris Benjamin was the star of the show on Sunday night. How impressed have you been with him so far?
Always been. Was fortunate to see his rise from the second 11 all the way to the Chris Benjamin that you see today. I think he's been very consistent the way that he plays, the manner he goes about his cricket, and he's one for the future. He's definitely a star to look out for, and we're happy that he's within our ranks. And finally, Carlos, what's the team news for today? Same team as last game. Sam Haynes still has a little bit of a niggle, and he continues to miss out, and Rob Yates deservedly takes his place. Fantastic, Carlos. Well, good luck for today's match. Thank you. We have 30 minutes till the start of today's match, and as you heard, Birmingham Bears will be fielding first.
So we do have indeed the toss news. The Birmingham Bears will be batting first, and very pleased to be joined by Birmingham Bears player Liam Norwell right now. And just before we chat, Liam, I'm going to go through the team news. In fact, let's take a look at the Bears team.
Jacob Bethel, all-rounder, Kenilworth Wardens Cricket Club.
Alex Davis, batter, wicket-keeper.
Rob Yates, batter, Moseley Cricket Club.
Carlos Brathwaite, all-rounder, Knowle and Dulwich Cricket Club.
Adam Hose, batter, Kidderminster Cricket Club.
Chris Benjamin, batsman, wicket-keeper, Walsall Cricket Club.
Danny Briggs, spinner.
Emery Brooks, fast bowler, Alton Cricket Club and Nolan Dorridge Cricket Club.
Jake Lintott, spinner, Nolan Dorridge Cricket Club.
Craig Miles, fast bowler, Leamington Cricket Club.
That is the Birmingham Bears team. And for the Leicestershire Foxes, I shall tell you, we have Scott Steele, Hamish Rutherford, Aaron Lilly, Lewis Hill, the captain Colin Ackerman, Rishi Patel, Ben Mike, Rehan Ahmed, Callum Parkinson, Naveedul Huq, and Will Davis to round it out. Liam Norwell alongside me. Liam, that's a very strong team for the Foxes.
It is very explosive up the top with Steele, Rutherford and Lilly coming in top 3. They'll all come hard, they'll look to exploit the power play, and they're quite a canny bowling unit as well. Probably a underrated bowling unit, so it's not going to be an easy game for the Bears today.
Of course, they won the last one last year. Well, they only played the one time last year, but the Bears managed to get the win in that one. What are your memories of that game?
Yeah, it was a tight one at Grace Road. My main memory of that game is Carlos taking quite a spectacular catch of Craig Miles, but Will Rhodes, who's obviously not playing today, led the team that day and got 85 and kind of set the platform. And I think it's seeing the Bears bowling first, it's a case of restricting them to as few runs as possible.
And the Bears will feel very confident, of course. Just having won 3 out of 3, playing on their home ground, it's been a dream start, hasn't it?
It has been a dream start. Any competition you want to get on the board early, and 3 from 3 is a superb start. And Leicester's kind of the opposite. They're 1 and 3, so they've got a point to prove, and they're going to be wanting to turn us over on our home patch.
Yeah, they've definitely come hard. I mean, we've got some very exciting players, especially batting right at the top. I mean, Paul Sterling in that first game in the Blast. What a day! I mean, that's a dream debut for any player for a new team.
Oh, I think it's more than a dream, isn't it? I was sitting at home watching it, and the striking was unbelievable. That over off James Sales was some of the best striking you'll see. But it's not just Sterlo. We've got talent all the way down, and we've got young Bethel at the top, who hopefully is going to come good. He's shown glimpses, and we all know what he can do, and hopefully a big score for him is coming along.
Yeah, obviously so young, just turned 18 years of age recently. I mean, do you remember your early days of coming into, like, walking into that professional dressing room, fresh out of an under-19s team? I mean, it's kind of daunting, you imagine.
I think it was daunting for me, and it's daunting for a lot of people, but Jake just takes it in his stride. He's such a mature head on an 18-year-old that it's no wonder he's doing so well at the moment.
Well, before we move on today, we'll chat a little bit more, but let's take a look at the pitch. Now, the pitch here at Edgbaston, we're going to take a little look at it. There we go, isn't it gorgeous? The hybrid pitch here at Edgbaston. What do you make of the pitch when you look at it? I mean, you've had a closer look at it than I have, Liam. What do you make of it?
They're just good cricket wickets here. We're very lucky in Gary. He's one of the best around. And these hybrids, they're very true. There's not much margin for error for bowlers, and it might start to spin, say, being the third game on the pitch. But the way Gary prepares it and preps them, it's just going to be a good cricket wicket.
Of course, Gary Barwell, head of turf management. Do not call him the head groundsman. He does not like that at all. But yeah, it is going to be very, very exciting. We talked about some of the talent. We talked about Bethel at the top, Sterlo coming into the side as well. But also, let's talk about Rob Yates. I mean, he's been fantastic so far this season. Even pre-season, there were those 2 second 11 games where he's really, really shown. Has he impressed you as well this season?
Oh, Yatesy, I've run out of words for Yatesy. His maturity in red ball cricket is something, but to be able to adapt his game to T20, like you said, he had 150 balls in the second team about a week ago, and that's got him into the team when Sam Hain unfortunately had a little injury. And he's not someone who's going to take his opportunity lying down. He's going to throw everything at it, and you can expect some fireworks from him today if he comes off. Absolutely.
What's he like to hang out with?
Quiet. He's very smart. He's too smart for me.
When you say smart, like what are we talking? Smart. Is he into his Shakespeare, and is he reciting sonnets? What's happening?
Not quite that smart, but he's currently at university, and if you can study for a first-class degree whilst playing cricket, I think you've got a bit between your head.
Yeah, no, he's got a good head between those shoulders for absolute sure. We're going to take a look at a little bit of Rob Yates momentarily. He's been absolutely fantastic this season. In fact, let's do that now. Let's take a look at Rob Yates doing Rob Yates things.
Great start from the lads. I think it's a start that we would have loved to take at the beginning, and I think what we try and do now is carry on that momentum and try and build upon it.
How important has it been that the wins have all been different? We had the first game where we blew Northants out the water, we've had a tight game at Derbyshire, and then we had the game where we're in a little bit of bother on Sunday, we managed to dig ourselves a hole. How much does the group take away from these wins?
Yeah, it's a great sign. You always worry potentially if you're winning games too easy, too often and too early, that when it comes to those tight games, whether you've got something to get over the line, but the lads have obviously shown that. The way Benji and Hosey backed it up again against Durham on the weekend just shows great depth and character within the team.
Is it a bubbling dressing room at the minute?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you're winning, it's always a happier dressing room, but we should take confidence from that and use that atmosphere to our advantage.
It's a motivated dressing room though, isn't it? And you're on that side of it. There's lots of competition for places. How are you coping with that, and how do you think the other guys are coping with that?
Yeah, no, brilliant. I think it's a great challenge for everyone. I'm certainly seeing the exciting side of it. It's almost nothing to lose, it's everything to gain for everyone. Everyone's trying your best to get a spot in the team, then that can only mean good things, in my opinion.
You had to get a second 1100.
Yeah.
It was an unbelievable 100, but you have to almost put down that benchmark to prove to the team that you're ready to come in.
Yeah, and even still, it's one of those where I'm not trying too hard, where, you know, I think a lot of us find out that sometimes isn't the answer, but if you go out and enjoy it and put the work in practice, and hopefully results pay off, and it's good for everyone, I think. Good to have strength in depth, and that has pushed the team on, hasn't it? If there are guys in that team that potentially are struggling with the bat, they know there's people over their shoulder ready to come in. Yeah, absolutely. I think there's, well, back down all the way down to 11, I think, with Briggsy this year. So, yeah, certainly, not sure about takes the pressure off the top order, but it definitely helps. As a group, what are we looking for this week? What is the motivation for Mark Robinson? I think to keep going with what we're doing, trust our process and our beliefs with how we want to play our T20 cricket, and we'll be in a good place if we carry on to do that. And how hard is it not to get too carried away with the league table? Because there is a little bit of gap already. If you win on Thursday, that could be an even bigger gap. How hard is it not to get too carried away and just keep grounded? Yeah, I mean, to be honest, personally, I haven't looked at it, because it's almost so early on in the tournament that a few weeks' time it could change for hopefully the better. But yeah, it's just something that we, like I said earlier, stick to our process of how we want to play our T20, and the rest will take care of itself. And finally, where are you at with your game? Yeah, I'm in quite a happy place. I'm enjoying this T20 period. It's a nice chance to free up and enjoy some fun, fast cricket.
Absolutely brilliant. He's some player, is Yates, and we're looking forward to seeing him in action a little bit later on today. Might not even be needed with the form that they've shown so far, the Bears, this season. They've been incredible. Has it slightly surprised you, Liam? Like 3 out of 3, straight out of the gate, super professional from the word go. What do you put it down to?
I think good preparation. The lads went really well in the second team, and where we've got quite a different T20 team to Red Bull team this year, it meant lads could really prepare well. So last year we had quite a similar team across all formats. So I think just that difference, and having Carlos come in, Chris Benjamin, who hasn't been playing Red Bull cricket, Jacob Bethel hasn't, it's given them that proper chance to really get into their T20. And I think that's just shown these performances that we're really switched on, and 3 from 3 is a dream start.
It definitely is, and in the last game, I mean, it was superb with the ball to start with. I heard you talk about Chris Benjamin. We will come on to Chris Benjamin, absolutely we will. But first, I mean, the performance with the ball, Craig Miles in particular, 2 and 2, I mean, that was something special.
I think the whole power play was, if you think, Henry started off with early wicket, and then Craig went 2 and 2, like you said. But as soon as you can get a team 3 or 4 down in the power play, it really puts pressure on them. And I think our bowlers have not got the credit they deserve so far this year. Our batting's been the standout, but our bowling to restrict teams has been superb.
Absolutely. I mean, particularly the spin twins, you got Lintott and Briggs. I mean, Briggs bowled a brilliant over in the first game, where he also got 2 wickets. Something about the Bears and taking 2 wickets in overs, it's probably quite common in T20 now that I think about it. But there's a wonderful atmosphere as well for the 3 games that we've had so far. And today with fans from Leicester, the Foxes fans, I mean, they're going to make a lot of noise as well, I imagine.
Yeah, it's not too far for them to travel, is it? But it's a glorious day. The crowd's filling up nicely, and hopefully it's going to be a good turnout.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, we're expecting a big turnout here today as well, actually. I'm told bigger than Sunday, which in itself, I mean, Sunday was a slightly tricky day. Yeah. Bit of rain about as well, Liam, if I'm honest. The rain didn't really help. But what was superb and spectacular was Chris Benjamin. Absolutely fantastic. A beautiful knock, 69 of the most gorgeous runs you'll ever see. In fact, we can take a look at Chris Benjamin doing Chris Benjamin things now.
It's on to 24. Benjamin's on strike. 2 balls remaining in the 10th over. 1 for 24 so far, and Benjamin goes big, and he's gone straight as well. Well, he got down to sweep that, but he's ended up actually hitting it very straight. Bryden Castle will be coming back at some point.
Reverse sweep this time, beautifully played into the gap, past the point fielder. 36 for 4. In comes Borthwick again. This is short. It's been reverse swept again, past that point fielder. The cover fielder makes a diving effort, but it's in despair. Enjoy batting together. Another short ball from Borthwick has been cut away nicely in the conventional manner this time, and yet another boundary. The fielder at point has come out. He's made a few adjustments in the field to allow for that short ball. In comes Borthwick again. This is short again. It's been pulled high and long into the leg side.
This amount can change it, isn't it?
Indeed, as you called it, Bryden cast back into the attack. This is Fall's been driven and beats the fielder in mid-off, who dives in despair but has to watch that ball go all the way along the ground to the long-off boundary. Bryden Cass in once again. This is a bit fuller. It's been smashed high up in the air and straight down the ground. And one bounce four. Benjamin on strike. In comes Bryden Cass. This has been guided wide of the fielder at point. It's going to run away to the deep third boundary. And that is 50 for Chris Benjamin. And quite outstanding innings. My word, 22 balls, 53 runs, 6 fours and 4 sixes. Chris Benjamin, absolutely fantastic. He got 68. It was so good, I got overexcited and gave him an extra run. He got 68, and that's what made him the Talbots player of the match in the previous game. What a special player he is.
He's come out of nowhere. I played some twos with him last year, and you can see his talent. But I think what's really impressed me is the head on his shoulders. So in that game you saw on Sunday, him and Adam Hose were going well, so he was the aggressor. Adam Hose got out, and he kind of took a step back and just made sure he was there at the end. Let Carlos finish the game. He could have easily gone with his ego and tried to finish the game and got out, but he did what the team needed and finished the game by batting sensibly and letting Carlos do the hard work.
He was absolutely fantastic. And you know what? Performances like that is what pull in the crowds and make the game attractive to communities. I mean, this is what you want to showcase. This is what you want to put front and centre to all of Birmingham and say, look, this is a game for all of us. I mean, the outreach work that Warwickshire and the Birmingham Bears do is very, very impressive as well, isn't it?
I think the club doesn't get enough credit. We as a squad were at Kenilworth Wardens Cricket Club this week, and we did some coaching with under-10s and under-11s. But I think the big thing from what the club want to do is just get as many people involved with cricket as possible. The more people involved in cricket, the brighter the future the game has.
Absolutely, and we've got some great players to do that off the back of. They've got the Bears, obviously the Warwickshire team. You got the Red Bull team, the Sparks, fantastic. Obviously the Warwickshire women's T20 team. There's so many teams, but they're all brilliant and they're all full of great players.
Exactly, and I think what's great is how the teams are crossing over. Like the women's Bears cross over into the Sparks, and then obviously we've got the 3 different formats that we play here. But like I said, the main thing is getting people interested in cricket and getting people in the gates to watch and getting people playing the game.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a very, very exciting game today. Before we move on, let's take a little look and say hello to our friends at Sandwell College.
So my name's Tom Hayward. I'm one of the lecturers on the Edgbaston cricket programme.
I'm Poppy and I am currently a senior player in the Central Spark squad, and I also am the assistant coach for this cricket education programme.
Our aim is to either produce the next generation of future cricketers, future cricket coaches, or just help anyone in sport find their passion and pursue that.
You literally come to college and you're going to play cricket. Like, it's so much fun. Like, it's a dream. They love it. Like, even on their lunch break they're here messing around and hitting balls. They can't stop.
Thanks so much to our friends at Sandwell College. Now, Liam Norwell, we're going to have some fun, okay? I've got the full team in front of me here. I'm going to read out the full team, and I'd like you to give me one word on each player. Basically word association, but like more points for being funny if you can. Don't worry. Okay, so Jacob Bethel. Relaxed. He is relaxed, isn't he? Paul Sterling. Yeah, I'm with you. He's very strong. Alex Davies.
Small. He's very small.
Everybody's small to you, Liam. You're all the way up there. Okay, Rob Yates.
Smart. I've already covered it.
Of course. Yeah, with the sonnets and the Shakespeare. Carlos Brathwaite.
Style. Very stylish man.
He is, isn't he? He is a very stylish man. I did a game with him last year, and the fur coat he walked out in was remarkable. Adam Hose.
Underrated. I think he doesn't get the credit he deserves. He's one of our best players.
Most definitely. And he's been looking good so far this season as well. We've talked about him a lot, but let's talk about him some more. Chris Benjamin.
Future international.
Future. We'll go with future. Future international. Big call. I like it. Danny Briggs.
Legend. Highest wicket taker in the tournament history. Can't describe him any other way.
Absolutely. Danny Briggs is a legend. Henry Brooks.
Limbs. We'll see the way he celebrates with his arms and legs everywhere, just limbs everywhere.
Absolutely. There's something about the Brooks era, the Bears and the Sparks. And hi to Thea Brooks, who was with us on coverage the other day. Jake Lintott.
Bold. I've known Jake for a long time.
He said it, Jake, not me, just so you know. It took to take it out with Liam. Okay, and Craig Miles.
Suave. Yeah.
Is he like a man about town?
No, he's just something about him. He's very suave, and he's a very good dancer as well, so I could have said dancer.
Okay. I like that. This is a little bit of insight. You're getting the insight that you don't always get right now here with the Bears. Well, thank you so much, Liam. You're looking excited to have you on commentary as well today. It's going to be good fun. You're going to be with Adam Bridge very, very shortly. I'll also be on commentary a little bit later. We've got lots of great stuff coming up alongside the game. I can see the kids have come out with the two... the bears, of course, they are actual bears, so they're out there as well at the moment. Don't go too close, of course, because they are bears, and they're in their natural habitat at the moment. I haven't seen any foxes nearby, so we're okay for the time being. The game will start very, very soon. You'll be hearing the voice of Adam Bridge in the not too distant future. I'm Atif Nawaz. This is Liam Norwell. We'll be with you for the rest of the day.
You could have the chance of joining us for a future Blast game at Edgbaston in the Carling Best Seats in the House. Everyone has the chance to join us here in the dugout and enjoy the free food and drink with the best view of the action. Make sure you follow at Warwickshire County Cricket Club on Twitter to be in with a chance of winning.
So what does it mean to be a Bear?
We are proud of our history, our county.
It's traditions, it's people.
We're bold and brave and never give up.
We're outspoken and encourage others to speak up.
This is our home, a home for everyone.
Support our communities who support us.
And this is our time for our fans. The shackles are off.
Thanks, Liam. All right.
Of Edgbaston, then welcome to Bears Den TV, our live stream of this afternoon's T20 Blast encounter between the Birmingham Bears and the Leicestershire Foxes. Of course, as you can see, the Guard of Honour and the flag wavers are ready to go. We await the arrival of our two umpires today, Paul Pollard and Ian Blackwell, and of course the two teams. If you have just joined us, the news from the toss is that Leicestershire Foxes won the toss and chose to bat first, so we expect to see Hamish Rutherford, the New Zealand international, and Scott Steele appear very shortly to open the innings for the visitors. In terms of team news for you today, the Bears are unchanged, so still no return of Sam Hain, of course. There is the big game down at Worcester tomorrow. Maybe he will return for that, you would hope, but Rob Yates keeps his place in the side, which is otherwise unchanged since the opening game of the season. As for Leicestershire, on the end of a very heavy defeat last night against Northamptonshire, Northampton's racking up 227 for 1 from their 20 overs. Just one change there. Roman Walker drops out the side and Will Davis comes in. Alongside me this afternoon for the start. Anyway, it's good to see him. We wish he was out there playing, but Liam Norwell's with us. First of all, how's the injury?
Yeah, getting there. First of all, thanks for having me. I had a bowl pre-game today, but got through 5 overs, and I'm playing club cricket Saturday to hopefully be fit for next Sunday against Lancashire in the 4-day.
Oh, well, that's excellent news, isn't it?
So hopefully, yeah. Fingers crossed everything goes well from here. I've kind of got to this position a couple of times and it's not quite gone well, so touch wood, I'm at the end of it now and I can just crack on this season and get playing.
And we get the pleasure of your company then for the T20 cricket. I mean, the boys have started magnificently, haven't they?
Unbelievably well. To go 3 from 3, but not just going 3 from 3, the way we've done it. Obviously, first game, unbelievable batting. Second game, holding our nerve after losing our way a little bit. And then on Sunday against Durham, the way we started with the ball, and then the partnership between Hose and Benjamin to get us over the line. Everyone's contributed. It's not just been stand-up single players, it's been proper team efforts.
And as well, to get the job done chasing as well, having set big totals in the first 2 innings, it just almost gets rid of that little stigma. Well, okay, it's all well and good when you're setting totals. Can you chase?
Yeah, exactly. You see a lot of teams who do struggle to chase. Leicester, for example, have won 1 game batting first, lost 3 chasing. So chasing is always tough because of the scoreboard pressure, and the fact we've managed to do it successfully, and hopefully again today we do it successfully, it bodes well for the tournament.
And it wasn't just the nature of the chase, was it? The fact that there was a bit of trouble going on at 32 for 4, and yet they still, once they got settled, they still played positively.
Yeah, I think a bit of trouble was understating it, but that partnership between Hose and Benjamin, across the 2 games they had a good partnership at Derby where they showed they could just be aggressive and really go for it, and in that partnership they showed that they've got a good cricketing brain. They worked the situation, they waited for their bowlers in Borthwick to come on, and they picked the situation to really go for it, and then that set them up. So I think it's really good that we've shown that we can do it all guns blazing, and we can actually be smart about how we go about our cricket and to win a game.
Well, as you can see, the 2 batsmen on their way out. There's the huddle conducted by Carlos Brathwaite, I suspect. Well, I wouldn't even like to judge who's potentially going to bowl the first over, because we have seen a fair bit of chopping and changing. We saw Jacob Bethel take the ball early on last Sunday, and prior to that, Paul Sterling had a bowl first up as well. I think this time, though, is it going to be Craig Miles?
It is going to be Craig Miles. It will be.
And is this all about the matchups, isn't it? So
yeah.
We're going to see Hamish Rutherford, the former New Zealand international, on strike. I'm assuming that they feel a pace bowler is going to be the better matchup for him.
Yeah, that's where our analysts come into play. They'll give us stats on each player. So obviously the stats are telling us pace up front to Rutherford is the way to go. He's a very good player, like I said, ex-international player. And I think you're also going to see quite a funky field. I don't think you're going to see a traditional 3rd man deep square. I think you're going to see maybe more of a gully line, which is kind of where it's going now, because he does like to carve the ball through backward point. And we've actually got 2 catches in play already. We've got a slip and a gully, which you very rarely see in T20. Yeah. So we've obviously, George, our analyst, has obviously got his plans together, and this is where we're going to go.
Well, he's been around county cricket for a while as Hamish Rutherford, and he's going to face the first ball, which is coming from Craig Miles from the Birmingham end, and he drives it straight down the ground, and there's no run. And that's well fielded that time by Jake Lintott.
Good start from Craig, just full of length. One thing you don't want to do to Hamish Rutherford is give him any kind of width. So you want to be bringing the stumps into play. Almost a bit of 4-day cricket length to begin with. He's very strong on the pull shot, and he's very strong cutting and slashing through the offside.
He was obviously playing for Glamorgan last season in this competition, but has made the switch to the Leicestershire Foxes. And countryman, of course, in action at Lords, not doing very well. He'll be hoping for better as Miles is in again. Turned on the leg side this time. There's a big gap there to allow the single. And Lintott with just a slight misfield, and Scott Steele was quite eager for a second run.
He wanted it, but I don't think Rutherford had even realised he'd been in a misfield. Again, another aggressive player in Scott Steele. I think he came from Durham a few years ago.
He did, yeah.
I think he's mainly a white ball player, and he got some runs last night, if I'm correct. I think he got 60 odd.
Yeah, 64 from 45 balls, chasing down that huge Steelback's total of 227. When you see the form that Chris Lynn has been in since he came here on the opening night,
I think he got away with one.
very, very much so. Bludgeoned 100 off 60 odd balls yesterday, and Jimmy Neesham, who'd arrived back from the IPL with a very healthy 70 odd from 30 deliveries yesterday. So I think he was quite lucky to get that Steelback's game out of the way. Miles to continue then, this time to Steele, who drives him outside the off stump, and it's a thickest outside edge, and will just collect a single to Jacob Bethel. 2 for no loss then, midway through the first over.
It's a steady start from both teams. Craig's hit his lengths well here, and the batsman's been quite, well, it's only 3 balls in, but for T20 they've been quite quiet so far.
Yeah, very much so. Craig, of course, has already taken 5 wickets so far this season. 2 for 29 is best figures. You consider we're into game number 4 of the campaign. He's only bowling his 11th over so far. He's in that short.
Well bowled.
Good ball. Certainly had Rutherford nipping out the way. That's his 1 for the over.
That is, and I think with this field set, it's probably the last ball he's expecting, so it's a good double bluff there from Craig. I know he's got the deep square put out, but with the more gully line than a third man, I don't think he would have been expecting the short ball, so I think it's a very good double bluff there from Craig with his field.
Henry Brooks wearing the number 10, of course. He's loosening up in the covers.
Yeah, I think I expect Henry to come this end. Again, match up, these boys like to face spin.
Miles is in again, coming round the wicket, and he just tucks up Rutherford for space. Take a quick single. Maybe Craig needs to work on his skills a little.
To be fair to him, he's probably just about the best footballer in our squad. But yeah, he's very good. Him and Matt Lamb are the 2 best. But it was well bowled, and that's T20 cricket. They take the quick singles, and the only thing he do was put a left boot to it, and unfortunately he's a right footed.
Last ball to come of the first over then.
Yeah,
very quiet start.
Very quiet start. Bears will be very happy with this 3 or 5 balls. It will be about closing out the over here, making sure there's no boundary. Anything under 6 of the first over you'd be very happy with.
11 victories in the 17 games between these 2 sides for the Bears, so they've had the upper hand over the years. And that was outside the off stump, and he had a swish at that one. Wasn't too far.
No, it wasn't too far away. But it probably wasn't the ball Craig wanted to bowl, and it almost worked in his favour because, like I said, the field we've got set. You're not really aiming to bowl short and wide, but it's worked in his favour, and it's a superb first over. 3 runs off it.
Really good start for the Birmingham Bears, and Henry Brooks is going to come into the attack from the pavilion.
I think Henry's been impressive so far, picking up wickets, bowled at good pace, and him and Craig have really formed a good partnership in this T20 bowling lineup.
And Brooksy's had a good start as well to the campaign, already with 6 wickets to his name. And he's bowling again from this pavilion end, right on the mark straight away to Hamish Rutherford, and there's no run.
It's an awkward length that, just short of a length, straight into mid-drift. There's not much Rutherford can do with that, and at the pace Henry bowls, there's not really anywhere he can go. I think what's impressed me is the pace Henry's bowled this year. It's been proper pace, and it's something that we know he's got. And obviously he had injury issues last year, and it's just nice to see him back in and bowling fast.
And he's in again. And once more he's bowling to Rutherford, who cuts him away for 4. That's not really where you want to bowl to Hamish Rutherford. You mentioned it earlier, right in the zone for him, and it's crashed away off the bowling of Henry Brooks, and that's the first boundary of the game.
I don't think Henry will mind the length. It's just the width he's given on offer there. He's just slashed it away a little bit. If that's a fraction straighter, you can't obviously it brings us something to play. But it's exactly where Rutherford wants it. Like I said on the stat pack, he slashes for the offside. He picks up well on the short ball.
He's on to 6, and the Foxes on to 7. This one is on the legs, and it'll just be turned out for a single.
Well fielded by Adam Hose.
I think it's interesting you talk about the speed that Henry's come back with. We were talking in the first couple of games, having spent all of last season on the sidelines, he's clearly come back with this renewed strength, this desire, As a fast bowler, how hard is it when you do return? Is there those niggling doubts in your mind, or?
I think naturally there are. It's very hard to talk about what Henry might be thinking, but I think the big thing for Henry, he's got such a belief in his ability that when he is bowling, he just backs himself 100%.
And again, that's short. Oh, he's fended away by Steele.
And that is quick.
Really good ball from Henry Brooks. I was watching him and Simmons bowling earlier in the warm-up. Both very lively.
Very lively. I think Shea Simmons is going to have a very bright future, and if you can have a bowling attack of Henry, Shea Simmons and Craig, and throw Ollie Stone into the mix, you've got a very quick bowling line up there.
It's a very good options. No slouch yourself, Liam.
Oh, well, I get it through all right, but I'm not claiming to be Henry or Stoney pace.
It's the 5th ball of the second over, 9 without loss. Rutherford's back on strike, and that's skewed up in the air. That's gone up a long way, and Alex Davies wants it, and he's getting it in the gloves. And the first box is out, and it's the big wicket of Hamish Rutherford.
It's a very big wicket.
Off the bowling of Brooks, caught by Davies, and the Foxes are 9 for 1.
It's a very good piece of bowling. He's held his nerve, he's kept the stumps into play, and 9 off 1.5 overs is a shot had to come.
That's gone up a long way, and Alex Davies wants it, and he's getting it.
Run all the way from, well, obviously keeper to almost backward point to take the catch. It's very good work from Davies, and it's a perfect start for the Bears. 11 balls gone, 9 for 1. You couldn't ask for much more.
Aaron Lilly is the new batsman. The former Lancashire man will enter the fray, the all-rounder. Can hit a good ball.
Yeah, he's an explosive batsman, very explosive batsman. I believe he just plays white ball cricket now, so it means he can just focus on being as explosive as he can with the bat. And again, he's someone we've just got to make sure we maintain, and I think you might see more of a traditional field now. Well, I'm incorrect. They're going back to a slip and a gully, so it must be a ploy we feel is going to work well against these Leicestershire players.
Lilly will take strike to the final ball of Henry Brooks' first over. Takes a wicket again, moves him level for the season with Danny Briggs as the leading wicket taker, onto 7 in this competition. Wickets very much being shared around by this Bears side, and decent economy rates and a good average as well.
Very much so.
Rates.
I think that's where our strength has been. Durham at the weekend, 4 down in the power play. I think we had Derby 3 down in the power play. And obviously Northants had to chase a big total, but they were 3 or 4 down in the power play. If you can get wickets in the power play, teams are always going to struggle.
Just a full start because Lilly not quite ready. Just the 1 ball remaining in the second over. Really good crowd as well. The Hollies has filled up nicely. Family stand as well, looking thronging this afternoon. It's a bank holiday, and it's a good over. 6 runs from it for Henry Brooks, and at the end of the second over, the Leicestershire Foxes, should I say, are 9 for 1.
Superb start from the Bears. All Stoney pace. And
it's the 5th ball of the second over, 9 without loss. Rutherford's back on strike, and that's skewed up in the air. That's gone up a long way, and Alex Davies wants it, and he's getting it in the gloves. And the first box is out, and it's the 5th ball of the second over, 9 without loss. Rutherford's back on strike, and that's just having a look at the replay. That shot up in the air by Rutherford. It was a really good catch from Davies. Clearly the shout went out. No one else decided to go anywhere near. Always safe for catching with a big miss on, I suspect. Start of the third over then, Danny Briggs into the attack for the Bears. I think it'd be interesting to see if Rutherford was still out there, whether we'd have seen spin at this stage, but usually very economical.
Well fielded by Chris Benjamin.
First ball's a dot ball.
Be interesting in this matchup as well. So Scott Steele last night scored a lot of his runs against the spinners, a lot of slog sweeping. So you saw Danny quite meticulously placing his cow corner.
That's a little bit shorter, cut away. Sterling does the fielding. Loses his glasses in the process. There's
a very good start from Danny. 2 dot balls, pressure on the batsman.
Is it 3 dot balls and then you start to feel that something's about to happen? Briggs is in again, cut away to Sterling again, another dot ball.
I think different batsmen will feel pressure at different times, but as soon any batsman, so Steele is now 2 off 6, he's going to be feeling the pressure. And like I said, he scored a lot of runs off the spin last night, so you could see a slog sweep come out or a reverse sweep. They seem to be his 2 go-tos last night from the cricket that I saw.
And goes very quickly as well, already midway through Briggs' over. And you can very quickly nip through an over. With no runs being added.
And that's what Danny's going to try and do here. He's got 4 dot balls in a row. He's going to rush through these next 2 and just try and mount the pressure on Steele.
He can get out now without a boundary. He bowls again, and all he can do is give it back. It's fired in again from Danny Briggs, and now they're going to swap. They're swapping the mid-on to mid-off and the long-on and the long-off. Really feel that that's where Steele may choose to go this time. Briggs bowls again. Oh, it's a full toss. That's a poor ball to end the over, and it's all the way for 6. Well, a terrific over by Danny Briggs. Slightly undone with that last ball. A full toss, well dispatched by Steele. He moves on to 8, and at the end of the third over, the score moves on to 15 for 1.
It's not the way Danny obviously would have wanted to finish over, but if you, as spinner going for 6 on the power play, you're taking that every day of the week. So to have the Leicester 15 for 1 after 3, it's been a great start by the Bears.
Well, Henry Brooks is going to get a second over from the pavilion end. No real surprise there, of course. As I said, he's grabbed that first wicket. We'll be looking for another breakthrough from Henry. We are 7 for the season so far for him then. We take 3 for 38 already through this campaign. He's got 38 wickets in total in the T20 Blast. He's into Lilly, and he beats him outside the off stump.
It's beating for a bit of pace there. I can see what Lilly's trying to do with no third man. He's trying to give himself a bit of room to just carve it down there, but I think Henry just did him for a bit of pace there. It's flown through to Davis.
Yeah, he did. Just trying to run it down into that gap, wasn't he? But
which is dangerous, seeing we've still got a gully in play in the 4th over of a T20, which is unheard of.
Looks like the plans have been well worked out here. Carlos is clapping his hands just to Henry Brooks' left. Henry's in again. That's a little bit short and onto the leg side, and it kind of mowed into the leg side just as far as Jake Lintott.
I think he's
just a single.
He's tried to back away there to play the same kind of shot, and Henry's followed him, and that's all he could really do with it. It's very smart bowling from Henry, and again, there's just mountains of pressure coming on these batsmen now. We've got Lilly on 1 off 3 balls, and Steele who's under a run of ball. And in power play is where you've really got to make your mark and get off to a good start.
Those points as well, you look to capitalise, and maybe the risky shots taken on at 16 for 1. That's cut away, but straight to the fielder on the point boundary. Just a single again, Steele onto 9, 17 for 1.
That's some very smart, I mentioned a couple of times, that's some very smart field placing. Again, this all comes from our stat guy, George. He's been very good analyst, but it's not often you have a deep point and a deep square leg in the power play. Traditionally, you have a deep square leg and a third man or a third man fine leg. So we've obviously got our stat packets right for this game.
Lilly is eyeing that mid-wicket boundary, which is vacant. That one's short, and again it's played out to the offside, just short of Chris Benjamin as well. And again, he tried to make room for himself. Henry cramped him though by following him.
Again, it's great bowling from Henry. He's going pretty early there, so he's given Henry a good sighter. But to be able to see that as you're loading up to bowl and follow him at good pace and still execute your skills, high quality bowling and some superb fielding from Chris Benjamin.
2 balls remaining in the over, just 2 runs from the over so far. Again, another over if you can get away without a boundary.
Oh, it'd be massive.
Bonus,
and you can see that we're taking the slip out and he's going just into the mid-wicket, just trying to protect that boundary.
I know where Lilly's trying to go as Brooks bowls again. He makes room for himself. This time it's a wide ball.
I think Henry tried to double guess him there, expecting him to back away again. It was a quick ball. You can see as it's whizzed past Lilly's shoulder, he didn't enjoy it, but he's just aired a little bit too leg side. But as a bowler, when the batsman is repeatedly backing away, you're going to play percentages and you're going to go for that ball. So it's a wide. It's not ideal, but it's a wide that we'll happily take because we're trying to play to where he doesn't want the ball bowled.
Balls of Liam Norwell, who's alongside us here at Bears Den TV for today's T20 game. Brooks is in again, and a really nice ball that Lilly can just defend.
I think this is also showing how good these pitches are, the pace that is coming out of this. This is the 3rd game on this pitch, and you're still getting good pace out of this wicket.
Well, it's the 4th, actually, if you include the game in the Charlotte Edwards Cup as well.
Oh, I thought the Sparks moved across to the...
Oh, maybe they did.
Other pitch. I could be completely wrong on that. But
these hybrids, though...
Oh, they're superb.
In the days gone by, this would be crumbling like anything now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's Henry Brooks who's in again. This time he's cut away, and that's 4 runs. Well, Lilly this time did make some room, and they found a boundary the last ball of the over, and it was a desperately needed boundary as well. Lilly moves on to 5, takes the score into the 20s at the end of the 4th over. 22 for 1.
I know I'm biased, but I'm still saying that's a Bears over. To have him going under 6 in the power play, he's tried that 4 balls in a row, and he was going to come off at some point. It's 2020 cricket is going to come off, but I think it's been very, very good from Henry, Craig and Danny so far, and I wouldn't be surprised if Carlos came on now.
Well,
no, it looks like Craig Miles is coming onto bar.
Yeah, going to have another dart from the far end, so just the one over from Danny Briggs. And Craig Miles just went for 3 in that opening over. And he will do a change in the field here.
So we've got a deep backward square leg and a backward point. So again, setting up for probably back of length bowling here to Scott. Still.
Miles is in, and it's a full.
As I say, that he bowls a Yorker. But
they're not leaving the gap in the leg side this time, are they?
No.
So they have plugged that with a
they
short
plugged it.
mid-wicket.
Yeah, we've taken the catches out of play, and we've now got a few more on the ring, and that's just to protect for boundary. Because, like I said, we've been on top in this power play, and you've got to expect shots are coming. And that's probably why Craig has decided to go deaf there and bowl a Yorker, because he feels Scott still is going to need to play a shot.
22 for 1. He's in again. Scott Steele from the far end to face, and he lifts that in the air, and it's hanging for a long time, and it's always dropped. And it's Chris Benjamin, I think, who's dropped that. They'll get back for 2 as well. It hung for a long time before he reached it, and then just couldn't hold on.
He did the hard work. He sprinted probably 20 metres there, and it was just one of those that's always just getting away from him. And unfortunately, he just couldn't hold on. And he's almost needed it for 4 as well. It's nearly got to the boundary after he's dropped it, but luckily it's just 2.
There's up in the air for a long time. He's on his haunches now, Chris Benjamin. He'll be frustrated, for sure. 24 for 1. Miles in again, and he's just trying to scoop that. Makes no contact, and there's no run.
I think Craig's seen him go there. It looks like he's just bowled a slightly slower ball, whether he's just rolled it outside his hand there. I think still went quite early, and I think Craig was wise to it. But a very good piece of bowling.
As we say, scored 64 last night from those 45 balls. 11 from 13 so far for the former.
I think what
man.
the Bears need to be wary of, he started slowly last night from what I understand, and then he's still got 60 or 40, so he's obviously got a lot of talent.
Miles in again. That's carved away. And again, he's not got all of that. Almost clothed it. Just about cleared the fielder. And we'll get back for 2.
Yeah, he's not. You can see what he's trying to do. He's aiming for a cow corner. Probably the shortest boundary out there. But, like I said, he's not got all of it. Enough, though, to get 2. And he's starting to get the scoreboard just ticking slightly. But, again, they're only just going at 5. So the Bears are going to be very happy with the start.
Once more. The crowd is just a little hustle amongst them. It is a great turnout for a bank holiday afternoon, of course, and the weather's fine. Probably the best day of the Jubilee weekend, all in all. That's carved out to the boundary again. Jacob Bethel's there, and a really good throw as well.
Very well fielded.
Just for a moment, I wondered if Alex Davis was going to get there in time, but he did. Score moves on to 28 for 1, Steele on to 15, nearly on to 5.
Superb work there from Jacob Bethel. I think that's just showing his all-round cricketing ability. It's quite sickening how talented that boy is. Makes you feel quite old when you're training with him.
I bet. Last ball then of over number 5. And
I think you can expect this to be short because Greg's brought his point up, but his fine leg back, so you can expect this to be short up into the ribcage kind of area, I'd imagine.
There's 2 men back here for Steele. And then he bowls a
Yorker. He's bowled a Yorker. It's good. It's either good double bluffing or I'm completely reading the game wrong today.
Well, no, I think, listen, you're probably right in the way they split the field, but maybe that's what Craig Miles was planning. 29 for 1 then at the end of the 5th over.
And we've got the captain coming on to bowl from the pavilion end.
Over here at the Carling Best Seats in the House with today's winners. Are you having a good time? I said, are you having a good time? And you could be here in these seats at next week's home match if you follow us on Twitter at Warwickshire CCC. You Bears!
the other day against Durham early on as well. Doesn't take much for these white balls, wouldn't they?
No.
Hit a bit of concrete or whatever to suddenly stop doing what they were doing before. Going to be a single. It'll complete the power play with Steele on 26 and the Foxes on 40 for 1 at the end of the power play.
I think if you at the start of the game, if you said 41 from power play, you'd be quite happy. But I think the Foxes might just be the happier after being, I think, 15 after 3 overs. They've managed to tick it along quite nicely the last few. But now this is going to be the tricky period for them on a game, a third game pitch with our spinners coming on to bowl, hoping to tie it down.
Beautiful sunshine over Birmingham today. A few light clouds from our vantage point upon high, and no wonder Danny Briggs has got the shades on. It's very bright out there. 40 for 1. And the field spreads, obviously, as the power play is now concluded. And his first ball is touched into the leg side by Steele. Chance for a run out. He would have been out. I think there's no doubt about that. Had Danny Briggs hit, and on that angle, he probably had at least 2, possibly 3 stumps to aim at.
I think so. I think he almost had more time than he realised. But it's a superb piece of fielding from Danny just to even get there and give himself a chance to get the throw off.
Brings Lilly on to strike. It's wrapped on the pads and
probably sliding at the angle Danny's bowling from, I'd imagine. There wasn't much interest from the umpire.
Yeah, the appeal came from Alex Davies and Danny Briggs, but Paul Pollard unmoved. Oh, and he's taken a swing. He's bowled him. Was he under-edged him, or was Alex Davies?
No, I think that's come off Davies' pad and flicked back onto the stumps.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised. Danny Briggs has a habit of just sliding those balls through.
It's a very difficult spinner to sweep, because of that.
Fourth ball of the over, and this time he's got it. He's edged that one. Lilly's gone for 5. Second Fox is out, and Leicestershire are 42 for 2 then. And Danny Briggs, as ever, strikes for the Birmingham Bears.
Yeah, good piece of bowling. Just fired down a little bit quicker. You can see it's just slightly flat out the hand, and it's just gripped and just taken the edge, and good catch by Davis standing up.
Danny Briggs strikes once more. 8th wicket of the campaign. And the arrival of Colin Ackerman for the Leicestershire Foxes, the captain. 2 balls remaining of this, the 7th over. And so we see Danny Briggs with that delivery. Just trying to cut him away. It's a really good take again by Alex Davies. Not the first time he's taken a lovely catch in this T20 Blast campaign. And Danny Briggs doing what Danny Briggs does.
Yeah, exactly. There's a reason he's the leading wicket taker in history of the tournament. But this is a big partnership, I think, for Leicester. Their captain, Ackerman, one of their main players last year, picked up in the 100, did well in the 100. Also has a horrible knack of taking good wickets against us.
We don't even talk about 29.
But this is going to be quite a vital period in the game if we can to break this partnership quickly. And I assume it's Lewis Hill or Rishi Patel in next. If we can get one of those guys in quickly, then they're going to panic with their captain out.
Yeah, he scored 33 last night from 23 balls in that defeat to the Steelbacks. So he's in decent nick, and he's facing Danny Briggs, and immediately gets off the mark with an easily run single. Up to long on. 42 for 2 then. But Steele is there, and you'd start to feel that Steele's the danger man.
Yeah, he's
27. He's just starting to move through the gears, isn't he?
Yeah, just starting to. And like I said, he scored the majority of his runs against spin last night, so this could be where he comes into his own. But a very good finish to be over from Danny.
It is. It's a dot ball. It's the end of the 7th over. Liam, I know you're going to disappear for a bit, but we'll speak to you a little bit later. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Alongside us here on Bears Den TV then. So we complete the 7th over with a score 42 for 2. And a wicket and just 2 runs from that Danny Briggs over. 2 overs, 1 for 8 so far. Impressive stuff from Danny Briggs. And talking about impressive, Atif Nawaz is alongside me.
Very kind, Adam Bridge. You're so kind. You do flatter a man. But what a lovely start to the game, huh? I mean, for the Bears, looking good to make it 4 out of 4. I mean, that's how we started our broadcast today, looking back at the fantastic campaign that's already been. Of course, a win today will take the Bears back to the top of the North Group. Only 1 point behind Lancashire at the moment, who've played an extra game, let's not forget. There's that remarkable tie between Lancashire and Yorkshire. Now then, Lintott in for his first over. Starts with a flighted delivery. He's been swept into the leg side. There's a sliding stop. Slightly untidy work at the backward square leg. The batters get through for a single. 43 for 2. And it was a remarkable game, that one as well, in between those two teams. But what's resulted is that Birmingham Bears have a clear path to the top of the table now.
Certainly do. And 4 out of 4, just momentum-wise, would just be fantastic, wouldn't it?
The local rivals, Leicester, lots of flight on that one, driven down to long on. Another single for Ackerman. He's on to 3 now. I beg your pardon, that was Scott Steele with the single there. 44 for 2. Yeah, it's been very, very impressive stuff from the Bears. Lintott continues, lots of flight, big swing, no connection. The keeper has the bails off straight away, and he's been given. Well, that's remarkable. He was actually given by the standing umpire, not the square leg umpire. So I wonder if it was for a stumping or if he's bowled him. What happened, Adam?
I think he bowled him, unless it's for a catch, potentially. He's looking astonished, Ackerman, as he's walking off. Hopefully we'll get a replay of that in a moment and see exactly what happened. But the dangerous man, Colin Ackerman, who's out the way. As I say, he scored runs last night. He's gone for 2 this time off the bowling of Lintott.
It's an under edge. That's what it is. It's an under edge on the bat. As we see it go through, the keeper took the bails off just for an exclamation mark. But, yeah, he has to go, and he's walking off. Very aggrieved, actually. He doesn't think he's hit it as Colin Ackerman, but he has to go. Rishi Patel's walking past. As Rishi Patel walked onto the pitch, he gave him a little gesture saying, what was that all about?
Well, I was going to say, and Alex Davies, the way he whipped the bails off, surely he wasn't convinced there'd been an under edge on that one. There was literally no movement from Paul Pollard. Here, there's the standing umpire at the square leg. But Ian Blackwell was adamant he was out.
He put his finger up. There was no kind of hesitation in the finger going up either. So 44 for 3. And Leicester Foxes are in a bit of trouble now. As Rishi Patel marks out his guard at the crease. Oh, if I had to guess, I'd say that's 2 legs. Probably 2 legs. Maybe taking 2 guards, so 2 legs and a middle. Yeah, an interesting call, that, really. As you said, I mean, when Alex Davies took the bells off, I mean, that could just be sort of a keeper reflex, couldn't it?
It could. I thought he was looking towards Pollard. They were asking for the stumping, but...
Lots of flight on this one from Lintott. Again, driven down to long off for a single. Patel off the mark straight away. The Foxes 45 for 3.
Spin Twins are at it again, though, aren't they?
Yes, absolutely.
That's 15 wickets in the campaign between them so far. We're only on game 4.
We're only on game 4. They took 30 between each other in the last campaign. Lots of flight. In fact, a full toss that time. It's been driven nicely into the gap at mid-wicket. It's perfectly bisected 2 fielders. The one at long on and the fielder at mid-wicket. And that is a boundary for Scott Steele, who's batting really, really well today. He's on to 32 of 25 deliveries. 49 for 3. Just occasionally over-pitching slightly, these batters. For a single. 50 comes up in at the end of the 8th over. 50 for 3 now, the Leicestershire Foxes. I'd still say Birmingham in control of this game, but been slightly sloppy at times.
Yeah, in the field there's been a few, that drop catch, of course, by Benjamin. A slight slip up there from Carlos Brathwaite as well, but, I mean, 50 for 3 after 8 overs is a position you'd happily be in, wouldn't you? But Steele's the danger man. Good form last night without 64, and he's on 33 already here.
In comes Briggs. This has been swept eerily out to the backward square leg. And another single to the score. 51 for 3. Patel about to face up for a second delivery.
Former Essex man, isn't he, Rishi Patel?
He is. Quite a favourite down there with the local crowd.
Long way from Essex to Leicester.
Briggs in again. That was Fuller. It's been sort of dug out awkwardly into the mid-wicket area. Briggs himself chases it down. There's another single to the score. Even with the moments of sloppiness, Birmingham Bears, making it difficult for Leicester to get their runs. Only seen a couple of big hits from them so far. In comes Briggs again. This is a bit shorter and quicker. It's been jabbed to short third, and there is no run.
All
variations are...
He's all arms and legs, Henry Brooks, isn't he? I mean, he's all arms and legs.
Yeah, I asked Liam Norwell, as this time the ball's been swept again airily on the bounce to deep backward square leg for a single. I asked Liam earlier for a one-word summary of all of these players, and that's what he said. Arms. He said limbs.
Yeah, he is.
For Brooks,
which is very handy at times, of course, and he's certainly hurt losing one of those limbs to hurl the ball at great speed.
As that ball has bowled him. Beautiful bit of bowling from Danny Briggs. And Rishi Patel plays all round that one. He's just on a length. He was looking for it, just searching for it, reaching for it. He was nowhere near it in the end. And another wicket falls for the Leicester Foxes. The Birmingham Bears have 4 now. Leicester 53 for 4. And in serious, serious trouble here, Adam.
Yeah, Danny Briggs 2 for 11 off of just shy of 3 overs. I mean, a terrific bowling performance from him. And again, the value that he brings to this Bears side. It was a delightful delivery, as we can see. That left arm, and Patel, well, I'm not sure he knew what was going on. He's
stumped.
It does, but then he's given him stumped. No, he didn't bowl him, it was stumped.
It was stumped, yes, indeed. A nice piece of work from Alex Davies. So quick behind the wickets with his glove work. He can fool everybody, even if you're watching it with the naked eye.
I mean, 3 catches and a stumping so far for Alex Davies. He's having a hell of an afternoon.
He absolutely is. I wonder what the record is for most dismissals in a T20 in England. Can't be too many more than 4.
Well, I shall go hunting through the record book.
Thank you, Adam. In comes Briggs, full ball driven back to him by Hill, the new batter, and there is no run. So, a very successful little spell this for the Birmingham Bears, despite a few moments of sloppiness, moments of individual brilliance from the bowlers have gotten them in pole position here. Leicester 53 for 4 after 9 overs.
I can tell you the record for the Bears.
Oh, yes, please.
And that's 4.
Which has been equal today?
Which, interestingly enough, Alex Davies managed against Northants, where he took 3 catches and 1 stumping. But, I mean, Tony Frost, Tim Ambrose and Michael Burgess have also managed 4 previously. So,
okay.
So he needs 1 more today, and then he'll be a record holder for the Bears. I will go looking elsewhere for the rest.
Well, that's very exciting. Alex Davies behind the stumps. Lintott back in again. And that ball has been driven out to mid-wicket for a single. Scott Steele, been a lone constant really for him. He's got 36 out of the 54 runs scored so far as Steele. 1 booming 6 into the leg side, into the Selco family stand.
Yeah, that was a cracking shot, wasn't it, from Briggs's full toss. That one poor ball at the end of those first 5 dot balls. It was a big hit.
In comes Lintott, swept. Right, Hill to fine leg for a single. I'm really pleased, Adam, that the Clouds seem to have kept away today. We've got our own record, our own streak going, haven't we?
We have, yeah.
2 rain-delayed games in a row. Short and driven nicely past the diving extra cover fielder. Carlos Brathwaite's going to have to chase this down. And he makes an excellent sliding stop in the deep. Batters get back to 2.
Yeah, Benjamin wasn't far away from that one, but the skipper doing the wrapping up. You've been down there as well. What a great atmosphere today.
It's a lovely atmosphere.
A huge crowd.
The Foxes fans are making a lot of noise, particularly in the Hollies stand, as they do. Reverse sweep, switch hit in fact, and that is huge. Has that gone all the way? I think that's gone all the way for 6. Remarkable shot from Scott Steele. He just manoeuvred himself into a completely different position, from right-handed to left-handed, and switch hitted that. Well, shades of Kevin Peterson in his prime, really.
Yep, they can all do it now, can't they? But they've got that base. I mean, he's rocketing along here. 44 now off 32 balls. Slow start, but he's really moving through the gears. In essence, he knows he has to.
Yeah, it's really all Steele at the moment. Steele versus the Bears. Yeah, the non-strikers, he's got 1 off 2 deliveries so far. And some field adjustments being made. There's 2 fielders in the deep in the covers now as Lintott in once more. And he bowls a flatter line that time. Not as much air on that one as it shaped back into the batter, giving him no room, and he defends for no run.
Good variations again from Jake Lintott. He won't like being hit for runs. And off the over so far.
I don't think anybody likes being switch hit. Then comes Lintott again. A bit more flight and on the pads this time, so worked their way to mid-wicket for a single. And that is the end of another over from Lintott. 2 overs, 2 overs, 1 for 18 for him so far. 1 for 19, I beg your pardon. And he's been very, very good.
So we're going to get Jacob Bethel from the Birmingham end. Oh, Paul Sterling's having a stretch as well. He fancies a bowl too.
Oh, what a treat. The atmosphere is fantastic down there, I've got to tell you, Adam. I mean, the noise is great. I was unsure what kind of crowd we'd get today. But it's fantastic. As in comes Bethel, and there's a big appeal for LBW straight away. Davies was in full starfish mode there with the appeal. The umpire does give it leg by, so it did come off the pad, but not out signalled. I think Carlos Brathwaite has decided that spin is the way to go on this Edgbaston track. They've had great success so far in this tournament, as you say, 15 wickets between Lintott and Briggs. Bethel in, lots of flight, and checked shot that time from Hill. Was looking for a big booming drive and then just held back, pushed to the gully fielder for no run. 65 for 4 the score after 10.2 overs. There goes the air horn. Bethel in again. Again, similar length, just giving absolutely nothing to Hill. He's just itching to just get the ball outside the circle, but he can't at the moment. It's excellent bowling.
I mean, he just skipped through and over here. 3 dot balls so far. At this stage of the innings, with still going like he was, this is excellent.
And he comes again. This time there is a big swing. It's high up in the air. There's a fielder coming in from long on, and he takes the catch. Bethel has a wicket. A 5th wicket falls for the Leicester Foxes. 65 for 5. And they are in serious trouble now.
Adam Hose with a catch. And a wicket for Jacob Bethel, which is excellent. He's not quite worked out with the bat in the opening 3 games of this series so far. But the confidence he can draw from taking the wicket of Lewis Hill, and a good catch from Adam Hose. He dropped one the other night as well, so he'll be glad to get that one in the pouch. And it was just a big swish from Hill. And Hose coming in from the boundary, safe hands, steadied himself well. And the skipper's happy. An arm round little Jacob Bethel.
He can get one arm all the way around Jacob Bethel, can't he? Again, Carlos Brathwaite. But that was a very smart piece of bowling. Just the first 2 weren't really giving an inch. They were just on that length where he could do nothing but just plonk it back to the bowler or plonk it into the covers. But the 3rd delivery, there was a little bit more air on it, a little bit more tempting, saying to Hill, go on then, try and hit me out the ground. And gets that mistimed shot over to the long on fielder, is perfectly placed. It's been a brilliant tactical effort, this, from the Birmingham Bears. And,
well, when you consider so far from the spinners, we've had, 5.4 deliveries so far, and we've gathered up 4 wickets for 30 runs.
It's remarkable. Remarkable. You totally see why Carlos Brathwaite has so much faith in these guys. Now then, Ben Mike into bat. Now this lad can bat. I saw him get his highest first-class score a little bit earlier this season at Lord's. In comes Bethel again. Driven slightly, I thought it was slightly airily for a second, but all the way along the ground, down to long off for a single. And Mike is off the mark straight away. Ben Mike, man with 2 first names.
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
But brilliant, absolutely brilliant with bat and ball. Great prospect. He's come through the academy in Leicester. These are the non-strikers now. Steele back on strike, and in comes Bethel, and Steele just dabs that wide of fielder extra cover they run through for a single. So the end of an excellent over there from Bethel. Just the 2 runs from it off the bat. There was the leg by as well, but also, most crucially, a wicket. 66 for 5 after 11 overs.
Well, you have to say, stroke of genius from Carlos Brathwaite, bringing Jacob Bethel into the attack. As we say, he's opened occasionally. Didn't open the ball tonight because the matchup was better for the pace bowlers with Hamish Rutherford. Lintott going to continue from this pavilion end, but 67 for 5 from 11 overs, so just ticking over at just about a run a ball as things stand. The danger man is still, though, on his 46. Mike didn't do bad with the bat last night in that game against Northants. Scored 30 from 12 balls. Was given a wretched time by Chris Lynn. He went for 47 off his 4 overs.
30 from 12 balls.
Not bad, is it?
We'll take that every time, surely.
Well, it was in vain as they couldn't get anywhere near the 227 of Northants. But
fair enough. Lintott in again. This is short. Been punched off the back foot through the covers. And there'll be a single out there.
It's a bit like when they say in football about could he do it on a cold, wet night in Stoke? It's could he score 30 off 12 when it really matters, when there's a proper heat of the moment run chase on, or last night was it a bit of a forlorn hit and hope?
You know, I hate that expression, a cold, wet night in Stoke. I've only spent 3 nights in Stoke ever, and they were all wonderful.
Well, I don't believe you.
They were great fun.
Is there anything to do that's great fun in Stoke?
You watch a bit of stand-up comedy.
There's
always a bit of that about.
Were you doing the stand-up comedy?
I was indeed.
Oh, well, there we go.
And then I was doing the eating, and then I was doing the leaving. In comes Lintott as that ball's punched off the back foot by Mike. Can't be extra cover. Throw comes in from Carlos Brathwaite there as well. No run.
A bit like Hull. I was once offered a job in Hull, and they said all I'll say to you is the best restaurants leaves at every night at 8:25 to go to Zeebrugge. Apart from that.
That's made with soft hands by Ben Mike to Brathwaite again, who has a shy at the non-strikers. Manages to hit Ben Mike, I think, on the buttock.
Yeah.
But he's okay.
I say I didn't take the job. I mean,
No, you didn't take the job.
I'm sure
no.
Hull's lovely, but you know.
I'm going to ask you where that place was again in a second. As Lintott in, this is short. It's been pulled out to feed back with square leg for a single. So where does the best restaurant disappear to?
It's a ferry that goes to Zeebrugge every evening. So they're saying the nicest place to eat in Hull.
Zeebrugge?
Yeah, which is in Belgium.
Oh, of course. Okay, gotcha.
So
I was trying to work out, where is Zeebrugge? Like, is it north of Mansfield? Where is it? In comes Lintott again. Lots of fly and big swing this time into that vacant area. Just one bounce into the mid-wicket boundary. The big shot that from Ben Mike. Just got a hold of it nicely. Was in his slot a little bit. He just swung across the line, nearly clearing the mid-wicket boundary. 4 runs, good shot.
Yeah, it was. He made his mind up, went early, just shy of the boundary rope. Probably we're talking inches rather than yards. The big hit from Ben Mike. A man with 2 first names.
A man
I like
with
that.
2 first names.
He should have that as his on his shirt. A man with 2 first names.
This is short. It's been punched uppishly just short of Carlos Brathwaite, and he's trying to take a single as well. Here comes the throw. It's all happening, but ultimately it is a dot ball. 75 for 5. I tell you what, Richard Ray, the commentator for BBC Radio Leicester, he does not like that nickname, so I try not to say it too often when I'm on commentary with him, but I thought I'd share it with you.
No, I quite like it. I'm quite taken with it, to be fair. 8 off that over from Lintott. He's been a bit more expensive today, Jake Lintott again. 1 for 26 from his 3 overs compared to the 2 for 11 from Danny Briggs. We're going to see another over from Jake Bethel as well. So I don't know whether we're going to see very little of Carlos Brathwaite with the ball in hand today.
And we shall see. Bethel to continue. And he comes now. Scott Steele. That's been swept hard into the leg side. Again, protection there. Backward square leg. Another single for Steele. And moves on to 49 now. From just 39 deliveries. And there's a backward square leg and a sort of squarish mid-wicket. Right on the boundary rope. Right in front of the Selco family stand. Big swing from Ben Mike out to that exact fielder who was run out from in front of the Selco family stand to the next stand over and managed to get the throw in to prevent anything more than the single. 76 for 5. Here we go. Scott Steele on 49 of 39 deliveries. Bethel. Can he keep him from his milestone? And he comes. This is short. It's been chopped to the fielder at backward point. They're going to run through for a single, and they're going to make it. And that is 50 for Scott Steele. 50 of 40 deliveries. 3 sixes. and 1-4 in that innings. It's been a very, very valuable innings for Leicester as well. It's been more than 2/3 of their runs.
Yeah, back-to-back half centuries after the 64 he got last night against the Steelbacks. He'll be hoping for a better result this time round. We obviously won't, but 77 for 5 in his 13th over.
Bethel in again. This is short. It's been cut hard by Mike off the back foot. Out to long off. They're going to get back for 2 because it was wide of long off. And running by this pair. There's sort of a little hint of a partnership developing here for Leicester Foxes.
Yeah, it is at this moment in time, isn't it? They are last wicket fell at score being on 65, so they've only had 14 so far. And
big swing and no connection from Ben Mike. He was trying to hit that to Leicester. He misses the ball completely and it goes on the bounce through to the keeper, barely missing the stumps.
Alex Davies was he may have had another stumping now. He's second of the game.
Bethel in. Another big swing from Ben Mike. He's made his intention very clear as he smears that ball out to mid-wicket. It was a slight fumble. They thought about the second. They changed their mind. So it's another single to the score. The end of another tidy over from Bethel. The score is 80 for 5 after 13 overs. And yeah, I mean, he doesn't hold back, does he, Ben Mike? Especially when he's going after the ball. I mean, he tries to hit the ball with his full body, if that makes any sense.
I'd try hitting with a bat. Maybe a better option, really. On a couple of occasions there, they were just hoiked, weren't they, really?
Yeah, they look slightly agricultural once you move into a certain position. But having said that, he's still out there. He's managed to hang in there, and he's managing to rotate the strike. So I don't think Leicestershire will mind how they come as long as they come.
80 for 5, so with 7 overs remaining. We know a par score somewhere in the kind of region of 160 to 180. They're going to have to go some, I think, to get close to that with 5 wickets now.
Briggs back in now, and there's a big swing into the leg side, and that's over the boundary rope for 6. Well, nothing agricultural about that. He hit that ball hard as well in a much more conventional manner. A good shot to an over-pitch delivery. 6 for the Leicester Foxes, 86 for 5.
Amazing what happens when you keep your body still and just use your arms and watch the ball, isn't it? That's a huge 6 from Ben Mike. And will Danny Briggs respond?
Shorter but outside off stump this time. Hit hard to Carlos Brathwaite, who fumbles and allows the batters to get through for a single. And this is what you want if you're Leicester, because you've got a batter who's set on 50. You kind of want him to bat through to the end, and you've got a new batter come in, playing big shots, releasing the pressure. Very, very talented is Ben Mike. Briggs in again. That ball's been played with soft hands, and again they'll jog through for a single. As point descends upon the ball. 88 for 5. 3 balls to come in the 14th over. Briggs in again. Quick and flat, and once more punched out in that cover area. This time, that's the cover sweeper for a single. They're trying to keep it quite full and fast at the moment, aren't they? These spinners, not too much. Like every time air's been given, there's been mixed results, I think. Briggs in once more. Reverse sweep this time, and it's connected. It's trickling out towards the point boundary, and it gets there. Oh, getting down, switching positions is proving very, very fruitful for the Leicester Foxes. The runs are coming. 93 for 5.
Conversation between Alex Davies and Danny Briggs. Expensive over for Briggsy so far. 13 from it. Just the kind of over that Leicestershire were looking for.
Yeah. 1 ball to come from Briggs. How will he make it count? He's going at a runner ball at the moment. That ball's been driven just wide of Carlos Brathwaite. They run through for a quick single. There's a shy at the non-striker's end. It was quite an aggressive shy, and luckily for them, there were 2 fielders backing up. There was almost a run-out chance at the keeper's end. My goodness, it's all happening. 94 for 5 is the score after 14 overs. I'm going to have a little lie down, actually. Adam.
Lie down. You need to go downstairs and prepare yourself for the interval.
That's how we do it downstairs.
Oh, you do go and have a lie down. Oh, okay.
We're going to lie down. I've left some pizza for you next door, by the way.
Well,
so
I was going to say there was pizza arriving, and I had to leave. It was outrageous.
I know, but I put some for you next door,
That's
so
very
enjoy that a
kind of
little bit
you, sir.
later. I'll leave you in the very wonderful company of a superstar here at Warwickshire.
Yeah, Liam Norwell coming in to join me in a moment. Looks like Carlos Brathwaite's got the ball back in hand. We've had a couple of overs of Jacob Bethel, of course. 2 overs, no maiden, 1 for 8 and 5 dot balls. Danny Briggs, by the way, has finished his spell there with a terrific 4 overs, no maidens, 2 for 25. 12 dot balls in that spell as well from Danny Briggs. Liam's back. 6 overs to go, 94 for 5. Be very happy with that.
Very happy, but Leicester have just started to get some momentum. Very good innings from Steele. He's held it together, and Mike's come out with some quite aggressive intent.
Carlos
And that is
Brathwaite,
massive.
short ball. That's a huge 6 from Steele. It was a short delivery from Carlos Brathwaite, and it's been dispatched for 6 runs. Backward a square. That's a terrific shot, and the 100's up for the Foxes in the 15th over.
It's a great shot there from Steele. He's just used the pace of Carlos and just helped it along its way, and it's nearly gone into the second tier of Scriven stand, which is not a small hit. But Leicester have got all the momentum here at the moment, and Bears just need to wrestle it back. But it's been a very good partnership so far.
Steele on to 62 from 44 balls. Carlos Brathwaite in again. This one's fuller and squirted into the leg side. There'll be a single. 101 for 5. Brings Mike on to strike. He's on 18. Steele on 63. You said it about Steele. He may start slowly, but once he gets going through those gears and accelerates away.
Yeah, he's proven to be a very good innings. He's pretty much identical to last night. He's 45 balls, 63. So he shows once he gets in, he really goes well. And it's proving a worry at the moment with still 5.5 overs to go. He's got himself a really good base here to get a big score.
Brathwaite in again. An expectant crowd here at Edgbaston today, and that's driven straight back down the ground by Mike. They'll run the first hard and think about the second. Mike was edging his way, but
Very well fielded by Adam Hose.
yeah, you don't want to take on the arm of Adam Hose.
No, he's
really.
very quick across the ground there. It would have been a 2 to a lot of people, but very quick across the ground and got the throw in well. Yeah, Bears need to wrestle back this momentum. Everything's going Leicester's way at the moment. A wicket would be lovely, but you can't take away from the batsman. Ben Mike's come out and really changed the tempo of this game.
Steele on strike on 63. Brathwaite again into the leg side. Has he got all of it?
He has.
Yes, he has, for 6 runs. Just for a moment, I think Henry Brooks fancied his chances, but it's over the ropes for 6. In fact, it wasn't Henry Brooks out there.
Rob Yates.
It's Rob Yates. He just looked and wondered if it was coming his way. It's the second 6 of the over.
Yeah, he cleared the boundary quite comfortably in the end, but Yates was interested for a while. But these last 2 overs have really just thrown the momentum straight to Leicester, and it's going to, if this partnership continues, it's going to prove a worry because Ben Mike can really play, as you've seen. Steele is, he's rocking now. He's 69 of 46, and he looks in quite threatening form. Obviously, he got a good score last night, and he's now showing why he's gave himself that time to set the base, because he backs his ability, and he's really taking the game away from the Bears. 2 very different balls there. One's short, which he's put into the stands, and then just a back of a length ball, which he struggled to hit early on. He's obviously now set, and he's just hit it straight over to cow corner, and it's now what can Carlos do to wrestle back from momentum.
Partnership is 43 between these two. Steele's highest T20 score is 70, so he's on the edge of a career best here. Carlos Brathwaite's in again from the Birmingham end. This one's fuller and straighter, and he'll squirt it out into the leg side. They'll just get the 1 though, and he equals his highest T20 scored as Scott Steele. He's on to 70, 109 for 5. 1 ball remaining in the 15th over. Carlos, slow saunter back to his mark. He's not going to be happy. He's gone for 25 with 1 ball left in his second over. And again, that's 4. And it was on the pads, and it's turned around the corner by Mike for 4 runs. And a fairly wretched over, all in all, for the Birmingham Bears. 113 for 5. They conceded 19 in that 15th over. And that scoreboard, all of a sudden, Liam Norwell, looking a lot rosier here for the Leicestershire Foxes.
Yeah, a lot healthier for Leicestershire. Steele's playing a gem of an innings, and like I said, Mike's come out and really changed the tempo of the game. There's a bit of a strategy meeting going on between Davis, Briggs and Brathwaite now. You'd imagine it'll be one of Lintott or Bethel to bowl it, with Brooks and Miles to close out the innings, and it is going to be Jake Lintott. They've just punished anything that has been slightly off. Every time the spinner's tossed it up, they change of mind, and it looks like Bethel's going to be coming onto bar. Lintott's putting his hat back on, and
well, Lintott again has been a little more expensive than we're used to, going at just over 8.5 and over.
which still for a spin in T20 isn't overly expensive.
No,
but they have, every time Jake put a tiny bit of air on it, they've managed to get it away. And I think they're probably just going with Jake here because he is that he's slightly smaller, obviously, and he can, hopefully, they're hoping to slide it under the bat, I'd imagine, because both of them have really looked to sweep and slog sweep as their options against spin, and it should be more difficult against Jacob.
When you consider, 8 and over for a spinner in T20, but the economy rates in their careers, certainly for the Bears, for Briggs and Lintott, are both around the 6.8,
Yeah,
which is
superb.
Which is crazily impressive,
Yeah.
really. Here's Bethel then, from the pavilion end. A little bit of room outside the off stump, and it's smeared away for a single for Steele. That's now his highest T20 score, 71.
You see what he's trying to do there. He's trying to give himself room and access for offside, potentially to go over extra cover, but I think Jake's just speared it into the pitch there, and it's turned into an ugly shot, but he's got one, and like I said, the highest T20 score, and he's played very well. He's held his innings together, and Bears desperately need to get him out to make sure this score doesn't get up towards somewhere towards par.
And Mike scored 30 yesterday from just 12 balls against the Steele back, so he's on 23 here from 14, and he's facing Bethel, and he goes out through the covers. That's a terrific shot.
That's a superb shot.
Over extra cover for 6. Super cricket shot from Ben Mike. Just gave himself some room, and he's just lifted it into the crowd.
It's kind of what Steele tried to do with the ball before, and then Mike's managed to execute it a bit better. Obviously a lot better, gone all the way to 6, but there's a lot of pressure on the bowlers here now. We've got a bit of a meeting between Brathwaite and Bethel. I think the chat will likely be far in at leg stump and try and get him hitting out to the big boundary on the leg side towards the Hollies. But sometimes you've got to take your hat off to the batsman. That was just a superb cricket shot.
Yeah, not dissimilar to what you see Josh Butler do time and time again, is it? Bethel's in, he bowls to Mike, and this time he goes straight down the ground, and he's drilled that for 4.
Very good batting. You saw him move around his crease just as Bethel was bowling. Probably took away the option to spear it in at leg stump and just hit it like a bullet back over his head. It's some very, very good batting, and it's really thrown the game in Leicester's way.
His highest score in T20 is only 37. He's already up to 33 now, Ben Mike.
I think he's definitely a better player than that. I watched the highlights of his 99 in Championship cricket this year. It was very similar to this. It was explosive hitting.
Midway through the 16th over, 124 for 5. Bears need a wicket. Bethel just drops that one in a little shorter, and they'll race through for a single. It's just been a couple of moments, hasn't there? There was that dropped catch from Adam Hose, a few kind of misfields that you think maybe they could have put some pressure on the batsman with their running. Not quite as sharp as we're used to.
No, I think that's also the schedule. I know they've had a few days off, but 3 games in 4 days takes it out of you, and it'll take a while to recover from it.
Bethel's in again, short, cut away, but straight to the fielder. Chance for a run out here, got to be gone, and is.
Is that Chris Benjamin?
And it's Mike who's out for 34. Well, a couple of times there's been some hesitation between them, but Chris Benjamin with the throw. Davies whips off the bails, and that all-important wicket comes. 125 for 6, and Mike is out for 34. He's been run out.
It's quite a waste of a wicket that for Leicester. They were both set. A dot ball wouldn't have hurt them there. I think Steele was almost hit it and just run without really thinking. And that's exactly what the Bears needed. But for Leicester, still there, and he's now got to go on and turn this into a 90 towards 100 to make sure they get to a good total.
I mean, I think if Mike
had committed, I think he would have been all right, because he wasn't that short in the end.
No, but as we see in the replay there, he's
a good
he
stutter.
stopped halfway down, didn't he? When you go, you just have to commit.
He's got to commit, yeah. And he might have still been short of the ground even if he committed, but that stutter's definitely done him. But again, it probably wasn't quite on the single, if we're being completely honest. But for Leicester, the main thing is still there, and I believe Ahmed can bat. I think I saw him bat well in the under-19s a couple of times, if I'm not incorrect. So they've still got talent to come, and if they're going to they will want to be getting up towards that 160 from this position where they've got themselves 10 and over, getting towards 160, and anything's possible from there.
Yeah, the Nottinghamshire all-rounder is Rehan Ahmed, wearing number 16 for the Foxes. Final ball of Bethel's third over, and that's going to be played out on the leg side. They'll grab one quick single as Sterling comes around to do the fielding, and the score moves on to 126 for 6 after 16 overs.
So I'd imagine you're going to have either Henry Brooks or Craig Miles coming on here to bowl for 2 overs from that end to close out the innings. I can't imagine we'll go back to spin unless Scott gets out and they feel Scott still gets out and they feel Bethel is then the right option to lower order. But
Something Henry Brooks from the Birmingham end, it would appear.
Be interesting to see how Henry goes here, if he decides to use his full armoury of slower balls and tricks, or if he just tries to nail the block hole, because he is bowling to the shorter of the 2 boundaries. It's still a decent hit, but Henry's got a bag of tricks, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes about this, whether he just tries to nail his Yorker or if he tries to mix it up.
1 for 13 from his 2 overs so far for Henry Brooks, and he's into the attack. 13 again off that last over from Bethel as Brooks comes in and he's driven by Ahmed, and there's no run.
Good start to the over from Henry. I think with a field set you can expect just top of the stumps heavy bowling at the moment, and then you'll probably see the tricks and the death bowling to Still who's set, but while Ahmed is still getting himself going, I think they'll just try and keep as many dismissals in play as possible.
Well, they've scored 30 off the last 2 overs of the Leicestershire Foxes, so they've been going very well with 4 overs remaining. Brooks is in again. Oh, that's clever. It's a short ball. It's almost just fended away. And although Craig Miles tries to get there and cut it off, it's 4 runs and a very clever shot.
Yeah, very clever shot. I think he picked the length he was going to be bowling with this field. He knew it was going to be back of length to short, so backed away and gave himself a bit of room. And if anybody in our squad is going to cut that off, it would be Craig Miles. And he just couldn't quite get there. One of the best fielders in the team and one of the quickest.
Down here at third man, Craig Miles is fairly fine as well.
So now changing the field, so we've got fine leg coming up and cow corner going back, so now we might see a few more slur balls and a bit fuller bowling from Henry.
Brooks is in again, third ball of the over. There's a lot of movement around the crease, and the decision is a wide. And I think Henry Brooks is saying, well, he moved out that way and I followed him because he was outside the 2 tram lines for sure.
Yeah, back of a hand slur ball there from Henry. It'd be interesting to see if he saw him move or if he just had a gut that he wanted to go wide. But I think sometimes all over batsman moves, you know, as a bowler when it's going to be called, and unfortunately it's just a fractionally too wide.
131 for 6 then. Brooks is in again, short, cut away, all the way for 4. It's a really good shot from Ahmed. Just stepped away, gave himself some room and got those levers going and just clatters it to the boundary. He moves on to 9.
Very good shot, good cricketing brain. Just probably after the slur ball and a wide, Henry's going to go back to his stock ball, so he gave himself a little bit of room and expected it and played it nicely. It's starting to get away from the Bears a little bit here. It's just starting to run away.
Brooks from the Birmingham and again, and well, Alex Davies thought about going up. He was moving all around the crease again, Rehan Ahmed, but in the end makes no contact this time. And there's 2 balls left in the over. I think that was the signal from umpire Pollard.
I think sometimes batsmen can move around too much. He was trying to hit that whilst on the move, but Henry just seemed to follow him and execute his skill well. And big 2 balls here.
Ball moves on to 135 for 6. Brooks again in, 4, slower ball, driven. And there's a chance if Carlos can hit the stumps, but again, I don't think they've hit the stumps with any of their shies in this innings so far.
No, but it was always going to be a difficult throw. Carlos was off balance, moving to his right. He just had to get the ball out and he got it in the right kind of area, but it's always going to be the batsman's favour, that run. Well executed slow ball out the back of the hand from Henry. It's something, like I mentioned a minute ago, he's got a bag of tricks and he's very, very skillful, hence why he's in the 100 and hence why he's such an asset to us when he's fit. And you could see in our performances last year, we missed him in the T20.
136 for 6. Steele is on strike, he's on 71. Seems to have gone nowhere in the last couple of overs. He's been playing the kind of anchor role while Mike was thrashing the ball around and while Ahmed's been showing us his tricks. But that's another single for Scott Steele, who's on to 72.
So we've got the helmet being run on, so that means spinner. So we've got Jake Lintott coming on. I thought they might have gone Craig Miles, but with Ahmed obviously playing well there to be seen, they might just want to try and change up the tempo and make him hit to the big boundary. So
So it is Lintott from the pavilion end then. 3 overs to go. 137 for 6. Leicester will be looking for something around the 170 mark at least, you would feel here. And he's gone. Riley danced down the wicket to Lintott. And that's the end of the innings for Scott Steele. Out for 72, his highest T20 score. Another wicket for Lintott and another dismissal as well for Alex Davies. It's his 5th, a record for the Bears in a T20 fixture.
Superb innings, but I think Jake just took the pace off of there. He might have seen him coming, but with the field Jake set, it was the right option for Steele to come down and try and hit him over the top. A very good innings, but a good piece of bowling.
Yeah, it was. Lintott returns and he just beats him in the flight. And the celebration comes. Davis whips the bails off. Second stumping and 3 catches in the innings for him so far. And that could be a crucial wicket, couldn't it? 137 for 7 to get the man that's well set in Steele at this point. Could just limit where Leicester can post a total.
Bears will be definitely thinking under 160 now. With lower order players in. Obviously Ahmed's shown he can play. I'm not sure how the rest of the lower order go, but we've got to be thinking wickets and squeeze now. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a slightly more conventional field here with just your 3 men on the leg side out and long off. But I don't expect Jake will be giving this much flight to the tail enders. He'll be firing it into the surface and trying to get them to make a big shot to the big boundary.
Naveen Al-Haq is the new batsman. We've still got Will Davis and Callum Parkinson to come for the Leicestershire Foxes, but you would think the runs are going to come from Ahmed, if anyone, in these closing overs.
You'd imagine so. But what Jake needs to do now is just try and keep Naveen on strike.
It is Naveen. He's going to wrap the first one up in the air. Davis can't quite get there with a catch.
I think that's come straight off the toe of his bat and just looped back.
Well, that would have been a 6th dismissal for Alex Davies, but he couldn't quite get there despite his best efforts. Low centre of gravity there when those little legs were going quick. There's no doubt about that. Lintott to continue. 2 for 26 for him so far. 4 balls in his spell to go. Only 16 left in the innings for the Foxes. 137 for 7. Lintott's in again. That's a big hit. High up in the air, and it's well taken.
By Chris Benjamin. I think that is running backwards.
Yeah, Benjamin with a catch. And it's another wicket for Lintott. His 3rd of the innings. And it's the end very quickly of Naveen Al-Haq. He's out for naught, and it's 137 for 8.
And he's got some of the brightest pads on I think I've ever seen.
They are. It's a fairly garish. They used to play in red and green, didn't they? But they've gone all green this year.
I think the kit itself is quite nice. Just those pads are something truly garish. But very good piece of bowling from Jake. Fired the first one in, tossed the next one up, and this is where Jake really comes into his own. He just foxes the tail enders. I can't pick a ball what he bowls when I face him. So. But this is where he is so good. Like, he's very good because top order batsmen can only milk him. They struggle to get him away, and then Mattel comes in. Well, he's gone wicket dot wicket. So if top order batsmen are going to struggle to pick him, tail enders are too.
Well, he's now up with Danny Briggs on 9 wickets for the campaign, 18 between them so far. 2 for Briggs today, a 3rd one for Lintott. Good catch from Benjamin as well.
The spin twins are just such a vital part of our T20 and how we go about it. And then you throw Bethel into the mix, who's bowled well today.
I was going to say, the spin trio today with Bethel joining in the fun as well. Callum Parkinson is the new batsman. Lintott bowls to him and he just rocks back and defends that one. His brother, of course, is off to play for England in place of Jack Leach, who...
what a way to make your Test debut.
Yeah, who's suffered from a concussion issue. To be fair to Parkinson, he's travelled around everywhere.
It
was going to be a strange circumstance, probably, that that made that happen, but Jack Leach is okay.
And that is out.
Up in the air, and it's a fourth for Lintott. The catch for Carlos Brathwaite. Parkinson's gone.
And Lintott is now looking at Pfeiffer.
And that's 3 in the over for Jake Lintott. And the Foxes are collapsing here under the Bears' pressure. It's 137 for 9.
Yeah, it's gone from looking quite rosy for the Foxes at the start of the over with Still set and Ahmed looking good to 5 dots and 3 wickets. And now struggling to bat out their overs.
Yeah, Will Davis, and that's the worry for them now, isn't it? Because we've still got 13 deliveries to go, and all of a sudden a score that probably at best they were looking around maybe 170.
Yeah.
At worst they were looking around 160, and now they're going to struggle to get to 140.
Yeah, it's been an all action over, but from the start they had, and they were 60 for 4, 60 for 5. They'll be happy they're getting they've got something that is defendable. They've got something to bowl at, but when Steele and Mike were going, they would have been, like I said, thinking 160, 170, because they were going really nicely. And I think it's quite a brave decision from Carlos to bowl Jake in this over, and it's obviously very well paid off. It just shows the captain, the brain he's got on him, the captain, and also the skills Jake has.
4 for 26. This for a triple wicket maiden if he can get a dot ball here. Or maybe he could finish the innings. 137 for 9. Lintott's in again, and
he's got the edge.
Poked away for a single. No maiden. But what an over. 3 wickets and 1 run from it. Lintott finishes with 4 overs. No maidens. 4 for 27. And no wonder he's getting a rapturous round of applause.
And although it wasn't a maiden in the end, it probably almost worked out best because it's kept Ahmed at the other end. We've got Davis back on strike. So Henry gets to bowl at the number 11, which works out best for everyone involved, apart from Leicester.
Yeah, terrific stuff from Jake Lintott. He's into double figures of wickets then in this T20 campaign. Only the 4th game, already got 10 on the board, of course. His best bowling figures ever for the Bears were 4 for 20, so he's not better those today, but certainly his best for the season so far. 4 for 27 from his 4 overs.
I've known Jake for the best part of 10 years, and I've always... I could not get my head around how he did not have a contract and how he wasn't playing before he did. He played a handful of games for Hampshire, a handful for Gloucestershire, but as soon as he got that opportunity for Bears in COVID year, he's just taken it with those 2 hands and run with it.
Henry Brooks to bowl, over number 19, short, tucked on the leg side. They're going to grab a single. And now for these two, well, it's just to bat out the overs, isn't it? And to try and get the Foxes to 150, probably, you would say. Even from here, you just take a run of ball, wouldn't you?
I would be thinking run a ball, but you just don't know what Ahmed might be thinking. Right, I need to take this over for the short boundary. This is the over I need to take runs from, you know?
He's on strike. He's got 10 from 6 balls so far. But what you won't want to do is to leave your team short when there's still 11 deliveries to go, would you? Henry Brooks.
I'll start.
From the far end then.
I don't think Davis was quite happy with the field.
Big Miles is stretching down beneath us here, a very wide 3rd man.
And I think from that shot, I don't think Ahmed is fussed about batting out the innings. No. I think he is going for as many runs as he can.
He was trying the old scoop.
Reverse scoop.
Reverse scoop, yeah. Made no contact. I'm not sure I'd like to reverse scoop Henry Brooks.
Yeah, I'd just be happy to get any kind of bat on it, to be honest with you.
139 for 9. Liam Norwell alongside us today here on Bears Den TV. Atif Nawaz will be downstairs, of course, during the interval. Hopefully grab a player as they leave the field, as that's squirted out into the offside toe of the bat job from Ahmed. Just a single.
Very well bowled, executed his wide Yorker there. And now he gets 3 balls at the number 11, Will Davis. And Henry will be hoping to finish off the innings. And it looks like Ahmed has broken his bat.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, was it? 140 for 9. 3 balls remaining in the 19th over, so just 9 in total left in the innings. And you would feel I'd have to settle really for something around 150, unless Will Davis has got something about him. There's a quick single.
Well, he certainly looks like he can hold a bat. He's played the balls nicely so far. I haven't played against Will Davis since 2016, so I wouldn't be able to comment on his batting. I played against him when he was playing for Derbyshire. So,
he was, yeah, former Derby man. Played for England under 19s as well, didn't he?
Yeah. He can bowl with a yard of pace, but I think more in T20 bowls change-ups and tries to outfox the batsman rather than bowl with pace.
There's no urgency from the Leicester Foxes dugout in terms of
bat replacement. There we go.
Get a bat out. There we go. I'm guessing as well, when you're in the dugout, though, it's a matter of having to shoot upstairs to...
Yeah, I think
grab the bat, isn't it?
generally batting you have one person in the changing room, one person in the dugout. But it's a bit tricky when you're fielding because everyone's needed down there. So sometimes you just have someone who's not playing, just someone like myself who might just be hanging around the match day, just around the changing room, ready to grab stuff that's needed.
Here's Henry Brooks again, new bat in hand for Ahmed here. And that's, well, I was going to say, not the best of ones, but he's got something on it, and Sterling will just make sure it's only a single.
Very good over so far from Henry. I think
142
3
for
4
9.
dots, was it?
4 on the over
4
so
ones
far.
and a dot, yeah.
1 ball remaining. Davis is on strike. So again, I think they'll happily give the single here, won't they?
Completely. You'll see everyone just drop to the end of the ring. And also you saw Henry just dig something into the pitch just to let him drop it into the leg side and run.
And it's wrapped him on the pads. Nothing doing from umpire Pollard. They will get the leg by.
And it gives
Score
the Bears,
moves to 143 for 9.
and it gives the Bears the outcome they wanted with the number 11 on strike. And I think I need to leave you to get
You
down
do?
to the pitch
You're
side.
going to
for a
go
minute.
down to be pitch side.
Nice.
We'll have
Nice.
you back for the start of the second innings. That's Liam Norwell, who you'll hear from during the interval with Atif Nawaz downstairs as well. We've gone for 19 overs here, so 6 balls remaining, 143 for 9. And it's been a curious old innings, as is it always is the case, should I say, with T20 cricket. A terrific start from the Bears, reducing Leicestershire after 10 overs to 64 for 4. Then there was just a spurt, 30 runs in 2 overs between the overs 14 and 16, which really kind of made you think this was going to be a tense afternoon. But the Bears have pulled it back in the latter stages. 143 for 9 is the score right now. 1 over remaining. A real Jubilee party atmosphere around Edgbaston today. Terrific crowd in. We've all seen Trooping the Colour this morning, and the fly past at Buckingham Palace and seen Her Majesty on this huge day for her and the country. And now rounding off their day with a bit of cricket. You can have your street parties on Saturday, of course, because we're back here again on Sunday with more live cricket for you on Sunday afternoon. The Nottinghamshire Outlaws are in town. Well beaten the other night, the Outlaws as well. In comes Craig Miles then to bowl the final over, and he's bowling to Davis, and he beats him outside the off stump, and there's no run. And Craig Miles only bowling the 3 overs today then. 2 for 10 so far, but wicketless. He won't want to finish the game wicketless for sure. Ian Blackwell just in conversation with Carlos Brathwaite and some of the Bears fielders. Miles is in again. Second ball of this final over. Clock ticks round to 10-2, so they were inside their time for starting this over, I think. No risk of any penalty runs. And Ahmed will trot through for a single. So Ahmed now on strike. He's got 12 from 9 balls so far. You do feel that he'll be wanting to tee off a little bit here with these final 4 deliveries. 144 for 9. And he's on strike, and conversation then between Jake Lintott with his 4 wickets so far. Carlos Brathwaite down below as well, talking to Craig Miles too. And a lot of thought going into the field placings for these final 4 balls, and they're bringing Paul Sterling up from the 3rd man boundary inside the circle. Lintott's come down here with a fairly wide-ish long on. 2 boundary riders on the leg side and 1 on the offside, as in comes Miles again, and it's a good Yorker. Ahmed is coming back for the second because Davis has already run it, and if they'd hit the stumps it may have been close, but Davis was like lightning. Ahmed slipped over as he was turning for the second run, but they do get back for 2, 146 for 9. Craig Miles looks a little frustrated. I think he'd hoped that he may have nabbed him then. Ahmed on to 14. 3 balls remaining of this Leicestershire Foxes innings, but the Bears will be delighted to be chasing a total probably somewhere around the 150 mark after these 3 final balls have gone, and it's an attempt at a reverse sweep really for a ball that was full and on middle stump, and there's just a quick single. 147 for 9, and just slowly crawling towards 150. Davis Just telling Jake Lintott, if it comes your way, this is what I want. Lintott, terrific bowling figures. 4 overs, no made, and 4 for 27 today. The spinners between them doing a lot of the heavy lifting. 11 of the overs from the spinners today. 73 runs conceding in those 11 overs. But they did take 7 wickets. Just a single again for Davis. 148 for 9. 1 ball to go in the innings then. And to keep it below 150, if you just get a single off this last ball, you'd feel, or only concede a single, would be a terrific result for the Birmingham Bears. What is a real carnival atmosphere inside Edgbaston today. Reminder of the game against the Rapids tomorrow, of course. Last ball then. Miles is bowling it to Ahmed, who lifts that one high. And that's going to go all the way, is it? No, he's just going to plug, but it will reach for 4. He just cut it away over the vacant area backward of point. And it's 152 for 9 is the finishing score for the Leicestershire Foxes. Ahmed finishes on 19, Davis on 5 at the end of the 20 overs. So for victory, the Bears will be looking to chase down 153 when we come back. Terrific bowling performance all around from the Bears. 2 for 25 for Briggs, 1 for 28 for Brooks, none for 19 for Craig Miles, none for 29 for Carlos, but 4 for 27 for Jake Lintott, and Bethel with 1 for 21 as well. 152 for 9, then the Foxes finish on. The Bears to win will be chasing 153 when we return. Let's head downstairs, see if we can grab a quick interview with one of the Bears players alongside Atif Nawaz.
Well, there we have it. A fantastic score of 152 for 9. There was an innings of 3/3, really. They started very slowly, and then we came in quite strong. And very pleased to have Jake Lintott with us. Fantastic performance with the ball today. 4 wickets for yourself. You must be really pleased.
Yeah, no, really pleased. Obviously, it's a bit of a... I came on at the end there, and they're coming swinging, so always going to pick up wickets in that situation. But credit to all the bowlers. Thought we did really well on a pretty good surface, and now we'll go out and hopefully give it a good red hot crack.
Is the ball holding in the surface a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit, I think. Obviously, it's the 3rd time it's been used, so we'll have to adapt quickly. But it'll be a good chase, and we back ourselves at home with home fans in front of us.
Absolutely. 152 in the end for the Foxes. I mean, at one stage, it looked like that partnership between Ben, Mike and Scott could take them a little bit further. But you'd be pleased to pull them back, I imagine?
Yeah, definitely. At one stage, it was looking around the 150 mark, and then suddenly it changed quite quickly, and they could have got 180 there if we had not finished as strong as we had. So really pleased to keep them to 150, and yeah, like I said, we'll just come out and give it a good go.
And yourself and Danny Briggs taking wickets for fun for the last few years, and today you added a young Bethel to the trio of spinners now. I mean, what's it like, the 3 of you bowling in tandem almost?
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. I think we've been really lucky so far the first 3 games where the batters have set the game up for us, and that's allowed us to sort of do our thing with batters coming quite hard at us, which is what we want, particularly as a wrist spinner. I want people coming at me. So, yeah, really pleased though today. Bowling first, obviously, to pick up 4 wickets is great.
And 152, 153 to win. Feeling confident?
Yep, definitely. Backing us. Hopefully another sterling innings like the first night.
Oh, that'll be fun to watch. Thanks so much, Jake. Go well.
Cheers.
Well done. Well bowled. Well, there he is, Jake Lintott, the man who took 4 wickets. Absolutely brilliant with the ball. Liam Norwell back alongside me. Liam, I mean, it was fantastic, wasn't he?
Yeah, superb. Jake's done it for us since he came to the Bears in COVID year. It's game in, game out he performs.
And I mean, it's such a wealth of experience already. You've got him bowling in tandem with Danny Briggs. We've documented their fantastic performances. 30 wickets between them last year already. Well, 15 before this match, and they've added a bunch today as well. And now you've got young Bethel as well, Jacob Bethel, also just joining in and taking lots of wickets towards the end. I mean, that is a huge resource for the Bears.
Oh, huge resource. And then you've also got Paul Sterling, who can bowl a bit of off spin, and Rob Yates, who's playing. But I think Bethel just brings something slightly different where he's shorter, he can slide it in under the bat, and he just complements the other 2 really well.
Is that all it is? It's just a height thing?
Sometimes it can be as simple as that, you know, just different angles of delivery.
Fantastic. So 152 is what they've scored now. Well, you'd fancy the Bears to chase that, wouldn't you?
After what they did on Sunday, definitely. But it's never that straightforward. So we can't just take it for granted, and we've got to go out there and bat well. They've got some really good bowlers. They've got really experienced lineup. So hopefully the Bears can do what they did on Sunday.
And Jake, I mean, obviously got 4 wickets, but he mentioned that the ball is holding in the surface a little bit. I mean, what do the batters have to be watchful of when they come out to chase this down?
So yeah, we're like Jake says, holding surface a little bit. It's a third game it's been used for now. So it's just basically, you just got to hold your shot sometimes. If the ball's sticking in the surface, you just got to watch it a little bit longer, and you can't quite play through the line. I think it showed the seamers it was coming on quite nicely. And I think Scott Steele showed the way to go against spin was sweeping and slog sweeping, because when it's sticking in the surface you get a little bit margin for error when you go cross bat.
He played a couple of breathtaking switch hits, didn't he, Scott Steele? I mean, let's talk about that innings a little bit. He was so, he built that innings. Like, he took his time, didn't go straight, big bashing straight away, built his innings going at a runner ball for the first 30, and then started to expand. Is that, do you think, the way to go on this surface a little bit, just to be a bit watchful in the beginning?
I think you've got to get yourself in, obviously, but I think you've got to give credit to the way the boys bowled to him in power play. Didn't give him anything to hit. But, like you said, he took his time, he didn't give his wicket away, and then once he was set, but some of the reverse sweeps, there's plenty of spinners and slog sweeps were they're great cricket shots. And, yeah, like you said, that's how we've got to go about it. Just give yourself a base and then go.
Obviously, Ben Mike, who batted alongside him, I thought was very, very impressive. Impressive the other night as well for Leicester. He got 30 off 12 balls, Adam was telling me. I mean, superb performer, and that partnership really threatened to take Leicester to like 175 plus. But in the end, the Bears did pull it back quite nicely.
Yeah, you're always going to take under 160, but that partnership was very good between Steele and Mike. I think Mike's shown that he's explosive. He's done it in Championship cricket this year as well, as like you just said. But we're happy to be chasing anything under 8s.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, it's going to be a total that's chaseable. I mean, historically, it's 167, I believe, which also kind of undersells the average total here for T20 matches at Edgbaston. But coming out here, we're going to see hopefully the Paul Sterling show again very, very soon. I mean, that must be so daunting for teams to come and bowl at him. Even teams, a very talented team, of course, Leicester, but they're going to come and bowl at Paul Sterling. I mean, just psychologically, if you're batting at like 6, 7, 8, 9, you're kind of chilling, aren't you?
I wouldn't say you're chilling, but I've been on the receiving end of Paul Sterling battering before, and it wasn't pleasant. So I know what these bowlers have got to come out against. But it's one of those. If he comes off like he can, this game could be over quite quickly.
Yeah, beg your pardon, Scott Steele and Paul Sterling. All the S's are in town today, and also some very loud and boisterous fans from Leicestershire. They're enjoying themselves with their chanting. They're creating a heck of an atmosphere here.
The crowd's superb today. I know it's a bank holiday and everyone's off work, but I wasn't expecting a crowd quite this big, and yeah, the Leicester fans have really brought it to life. The Hollies is bouncing.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, they played God Save the Queen a little while ago, and they were all up there, and they had very little notice, but they were immediately there paying their respects, which was absolutely fantastic. So we're going to have this total being chased down very shortly. I can see the Leicestershire players very, very keen. Obviously, they're outside practicing, getting warm straight away. I mean, they'll back themselves to do this. They need to do this as well, because Birmingham Bears 3 wins in a row. They've only won 1 of their 3 games so far.
Yeah, and they'll take confidence from the fact that they batted first when they did win that game. They've lost 3 chasing, so they'll be confident. We've got some tricky bowlers. Ben Mike bowls at some good pace. Naveen Hack is just full of tricks. And then you've got your spin twins for them in Lily and Parkinson, who are just going to try and do what Danny and Jake did. So it's not going to be a straightforward chase.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if Parkinson had time to congratulate his brother on his good news a little bit earlier today. But I mean, we expect it to be a good chase. I mean, in the previous game, we saw Adam Hose being required and Benjamin, obviously, they batted brilliantly, but they'll be hoping for a more sort of traditional upper order finishing it type performance today. You don't want to take too many games deep, do you?
No, and if the top order can do it, then it also help our net run rate. So you've always got half an eye on your net run rate, but I think we back our batting order the whole way down. You've got Danny coming in at 9, and Danny's, you see what Danny can do in red ball cricket. So we'll back ourselves all the way down, and hopefully it'll be a good chase.
Absolutely, we would hope so. The chase should be quite conventional. I can hear somebody being sung happy birthday to right now, which is nice. It's a nice way to spend your birthday here at Edgbaston. Why wouldn't you? It's a lovely, lovely place to do that. Now, this game, a lot is on the line, obviously, for the Birmingham Bears. They win this game, we go top of the table, 4 out of 4. Lancashire currently sitting in first place. They've got 7 points from their 4 with that tied game with Yorkshire. This would be huge to go top of the table, win 4 out of 4 straight out of the blocks.
It'd be massive, and also history shows that 7 wins generally get you in a playoffs. So if we're already halfway after this game, it's a massive step for the lads, and it just makes that more mouthwatering.
It is. I mean, we've got the game with Lancashire. We've got some very high-profile, under-the-microscope games with Worcestershire. It will just take the pressure off a little bit from those. But you'd expect the Bears to chase down 152.
You'd hope so. No chase is ever straightforward, but hopefully so.
Right, let's have a look at the wickets and how they fell for the Worcestershire team. I beg your pardon, I'm thinking ahead to Worcestershire already. Let's take a look at the Leicestershire fall of wickets.
Without loss, Rutherford's back on strike, and that's skewed up in the air. That's gone up a long way, and Alex Davies wants it, and he's getting it in the gloves. And the first 9 without loss. Rutherford's back on strike, and that's skewed up in the air. That's gone up a long way, and Alex Davies wants it, and he's getting it in the gloves. And the first...
It's a very difficult spinner to sweep, because of that.
Fourth ball of the over, and this time he's got it.
It's a very difficult spinner to sweep, because of that.
Fourth ball of the over, and this time he's got it.
Lintott continues, lots of flight, big swing, no connection. The keeper has the bails off straight away, and he's been given. Well, that's remarkable. He was actually given by the standing umpire.
At times, of course, and he's certainly hurt losing one of those limbs to hold the ball at great speed.
As that ball has bowled him. Beautiful bit of bowling. Umpires Ian Blackwell and Paul Pollard on the field. The Leicestershire team are on their way out as well. And in come the batters for the Birmingham Bears. You Bears!
And the arrival of Paul Sterling and Jacob Bethel to the middle. A clear indication we are about to get underway for the second innings of this T20 Blast encounter at Edgbaston this Thursday afternoon. And as we can see, total being chased down of 153 is what's required. And I'm very impressed that Liam Norwell has hot-footed it from pitch level. That usually takes me about at least 10 minutes. And I tend to use the lift as well, to be fair.
It's a bit easier when you cut through the players' changing room.
I was going to say, that must make life a little simpler, mustn't it? Here we go then. So it's going to be Jacob Bethel to take strike, and it's going to be Callum Parkinson who is going to get us underway from the Birmingham end. 153 the target then, if the Bears are going to make it 4 out of 4. And again, what was interesting in the game here on Sunday was chasing down a total. They still were very aggressive in the power play when perhaps they maybe didn't need to be, which is potentially why they ended up at 32 for 4.
Potentially, but it's how Carlos wants us to play Irish cricket. He wants us to go out with no holds barred and to be confident in what we do.
Here we go then. Parkinson into Bethel, who's had a good day with the ball, taking 1 for 21 from his 3 overs. And he's into the attack. At the far end is Parkinson, and it's Bethel on strike at this pavilion end. A tricky start to his T20 campaign this time round. Was in terrific form, of course, for the seconds, hence why he got his place in the team. But he's only amassed 27 runs so far in the first 3 games. By a score of 14. This time he's worked that one off the legs. Used his feet nicely. And he's off and running. And the first run for the Bears is scored by Jacob Bethel.
I think it's one of those, he's still young, he's come from the 19s over winter, where he had a great winter, got a bit of profile, and you know he's going to come good. And with Sterling at the other end of the way our batting lineup is, we can let him just find his way a little bit, because it's not easy going out at the top of the order when you're young, and last year when he did play he was batting 6 or 7, so it's a very different role for him, but he's certainly got the ability.
He showed that in those second 11 games, didn't he? He was in destructive form. A great partnership as well with Sterling. It gives them that right-left option.
Yeah, it's always difficult to bowl to up top, right-left. Because T20 happens so quickly to be able to change your lines and your lengths at the drop of a hat. It sounds simple, and you should be able to do it as a professional bowler, but isn't always that simple.
2 without loss then. A singular piece to Sterling and to Bethel. Bethel's on strike here, sweeps, and he beats the man. Who's diving away to his right-hand side. I think it was Will Davies that was trying to cut it off, but that's 4 runs for Jacob Bethel. Really nice shot.
I think he just shuffled across the stumps a little bit there with Parkinson left arm round. He knew it was going to be angled in at his leg stump, and he's just gone with the angle and helped it on its way. But nice start, and if we can just take 1 or 2 off this final ball and be 7 or 8 off the first over, I'd be happy, because Parkinson's going to be one of their main bowlers on this pitch. He's going to try and emulate what Danny Briggs did.
He took a bit of tap against the Steelbacks last night. Number 46 from his 4 overs did Parkinson. He's in again this time to Bethel. This one's shorter and he shovels it into the leg side, but he's got a bit of power on that. It's not quite going to reach the rope because it's going to be cut off by the foot that time of Aaron Lilly. But they will come back for 2, and the end of the over comes round with the score moving on to 8, and Jacob Bethel on 7 and Paul Sterling on 1. And it's a perfect start for the Bears, Liam Norwood.
It's a lovely start for the Bears. Already just above the required run rate, and nice to see Beth just get away. You know, he's been a bit sticky towards the start of the innings last. He's been kind of run a ball, 1 or 3 balls. So to see him get away is nice. Now we've got Ben Mike coming in from the pavilion end, who's been bowling with some good pace this year, I've been told. Was clocked at quite a 84, 85 mile an hour in the speed guns during the championship game. So he's obviously been bowling at some good pace.
He's into the attack from this pavilion end, the second over of this reply. Another 145 more runs required from the next 19 overs, of course. And it's going to be Paul Sterling on strike. And they've gone for a fielder on the cover boundary and a square leg as well.
I think they're banking that Sterlo isn't going to be looking to run them down to third man or to step across and flick them to fine leg. So I think they're banking that it's going to be some full-blooded cuts and pulls.
I was going to say, they clearly didn't see him in that opening night game against Northants, where he was very deft at guiding the ball down to third man when he needed to. Mike's the bowler then from the pavilion end. That's full, and he's squirted out to the fielder in the gully.
And he's just tried to run it straight through that gap straight away. So it just shows the player he is, that he has the touch game and he has the power game. But he's I've been on the receiving end of a couple of Paul Sterling barrages before, and they're not pleasant.
No, it's I mean, that game against Northants, at times it was beautifully elegant, other times it was just sheer brutality.
Yeah, it was brutality. Like, that over against James Sales was remarkable.
In comes Mike again, Sterling down the leg side this time, and that's going to be a wide, nothing on it, and it was a bit like a hot potato for Lewis Hill behind the stumps.
Some good pace. Hit Lewis Hill pretty hard, that. Hence why he's juggled it, but he's come off the surface with some quite good pace. We've seen good pace from Henry Brooks and Craig Miles earlier, and now we've got Ben Mike coming in with some proper pace.
To us mere mortals, the idea of someone bowling 84, 85 versus 80, 81 doesn't feel like a lot. When you're facing it, what can you explain that difference in just that 3 or 4 miles an hour?
It's very hard to explain, because some people bowl 80 mile an hour but bowl a much heavier ball than someone bowling 85 miles an hour.
And again, Owen Sterling almost chopped that one onto his own stumps. They'll get a quick single, and the score moves on to 10.
I think Sterling's tried to run that down to third man. It's just come back in on him, and he's managed to squirt it into the leg side for 1. But it's very different, because you wouldn't think 81 to 85 is a big jump, but when you get into those speeds, every few mile an hour feels a lot more than you would expect. And some people will bowl 85 mile an hour with a very heavy ball, something like a morning morkel, so it feels even quicker. Some people will bowl 80 mile an hour with a heavy ball, so it feels quicker than it is, whereas some people bowl high 80s, but where they're skiddier, it doesn't hit the bat as hard, so it doesn't always feel quite as fast.
No, I get that.
It's quite hard to explain to someone who doesn't understand cricket sometimes.
Yeah, no, I understand that. That phrase, heavy ball, is a popular. Carlos bowls with the heavy
very
ball.
Very heavy ball.
Here's Mike to the left-hander Bethel, who drives down, he's out. Straight to the fielder, straight to the short mid-wicket, and the catch is taken comfortably that time by Hamish Rutherford. And almost fell into the trap there, Jacob Bethel, and he's gone for 7.
They just moved him slightly, his mid-wicket slightly straight to that ball. And Mike's executed his plan, he's gone full and straight, made him drive it, and unfortunately for Jake, he's hit it straight at short mid-wicket. But he's been unlucky this year. That's a good shot. He's hit a couple of good shots straight at fielders. He will come, his time will come.
The left-hander Bethel, he drives down, he's out.
Dropped and he'll get a big score.
Straight to the fielder, straight to...
Good pace, good areas. And it's not the start the Bears would have wanted, but the perfect start for Leicester.
Yeah, it's just a little bit tucked up again, which is not the first time he's been dismissed like that in this T20 campaign so far. And in order to keep the right-left combination going, we're going to see Rob Yates coming in at 3.
And Rob Yates is someone who I think is a very underrated T20 player. He got 100 or 50 balls a few weeks ago for the 2s. And all through the winter when he got back from Australia, he was brutal in white ball practice.
Top score with 37 last season. That was his top score in the competition. Only the one outing so far, of course. That came last time out, and just a single was on the board on that occasion. 10 for 1 then. Mike's in.
Shot.
And that's a lovely cricket shot, driven through the covers. And it's so beautifully timed, it's just going to reach the ropes for 4.
Lovely shot. It just shows there's still a place in T20 cricket for an elegant cover drive.
And I think that was the message the other night. I think that felt a little bit frustrating. Ian Bell was alongside me, and it was saying he was trying to play like Sterling and Bethel had tried to play, when you almost just wanted to say, Rob, just play your game.
Be Rob, yeah. Because when you can play a shot like that to what isn't a bad ball, that's a good length delivery. He's just leant into it and punched it for 4. When you play shots like that, you don't need to be trying to hoy it over deep square for 6.
2 balls remaining in this second over. 14 for 1 is the score. And Yates is off the mark first ball, as you so often find Sam Hain doing too. Mike is in, and this one is just turned into a big gap on the leg side. And run the first quickly, but I think Paul Sterling's only ever interested in the single, and there was only ever a single there. 15 for 1.
But then just that lovely cover drive has then created that gap. They've straight away taken their short mid-wicket across to cover, thrown deep cover out. So then he's creating easy singles for himself. And if we're playing good cricket shots, he can just keep creating spaces to tick over the strike. It's going to be very hard to bowl to.
The strike rate this season of these top-line Bears batsmen is quite extraordinary. Chris Benjamin at the moment, he's got a strike rate of 213, and Sterling is at 207, and Hose is at 161. It is quite extraordinary at this moment in time, as Sterling's beaten outside the off stump. There's no run. That's the end of the second over. 15 for 1 then for the Bears.
Very good piece of bowling there. Bit of a slower ball. Think outside of the hand. Probably the last thing Sterling would expect. Normally, this stage of the innings, you'd be bowling full pace, especially to close out an over. You'd expect someone just to try and bowl their best ball, hit the top of the stump. So very smart piece of bowling there.
We're going to see Naveen Al-Haq, who's going to come in from the Birmingham end. 15 for 1 after 2 overs. And it's going to be Yates on strike.
Fair to say he has a bag of tricks. You never know quite what he's going to bowl.
A good slow ball, hasn't he?
Very good slow ball. Bowls with a lot of slow ball bounces and has 2 or 3 different variations of that. So he's a tricky customer.
Playing in the Abu Dhabi T10 as well as some of the franchises in T20 around the world. It's very unique action.
Just punched up a back foot out to deep cover point. I think that will be one of the few full pace balls he bowls. I think last year when we played them at Leicester, I think our stat man said something like 75% of his balls were slower balls. And Chris Benjamin played with him in the Abu Dhabi T10, and he said nearly every ball was a slower ball. So at least we've got a bit of inside information from Chris Benjamin and Danny Briggs at the T10.
16 for 1. Sterling on strike. He's on 2 so far with 4 balls. Hack is in, and it's turned onto the leg side. Just going to be a single. Quiet start from Paul Sterling this.
Yeah, very, very good. But they bowled well to him. They've not given him a huge amount. They've taken the pace off, and they've cramped him for room. I think teams will look to try and just cramp him up so he can't free his arms and get going, and they've done that well so far. But it's at the same time, we're 17 for 1 off 2.2. I think Leicester were 15 for 1 off 3, maybe 15 for none off 3. So we're ahead of where they were, and we're in touch and distance of a run rate. So there's no panic stations just yet.
Yeah, Ricardo run rate. He's only around 7.7 chasing this total. 136 more required for victory. Rob Yates, yes, watchfully plays that one back down the wicket.
Well bowled, just cramped him up for room there. From the angle he's bowling at over the wicket, it's going to be very difficult for Yatesy to get anything leg side because everything's going to be angled across him.
And there's that familiar sign just to say, yeah, that one came in a little bit to Paul Sterling. He's gone for the sleeveless sweater. Been quite warm out there.
I think some people just always will bat in a jumper.
Yeah, regardless.
Yeah.
He's got the big bold number 1 on his back. Naveen Al-Haq is in again. This one's short, and Yates has pulled that away. That's a terrific shot. That's 4 runs, and Rob Yates, well,
he's on that in a flash.
He's only dealing in boundaries here. That's a terrific shot. He's on to 10. That was a wonderful cricket shot.
Yeah, he's banged it in halfway down. Tried to do him with a short ball, and Yates he was just a match to it. He's very strong with a short ball, Rob, and he's absolutely punished that. He's one bounce, maybe two, to the longest boundary.
Yeah, he's screamed that.
I can't imagine he's going to be trying a full-pace bouncer again. You might see a slower ball bounce the next one, just to try and do him for a bit of skill.
Not been in the best of form in the Championship, did he, leading up to the T20 campaign?
But sometimes T20 can just relax you and free you up, and then you get into form by playing it.
That's worked out to the offside. It's going to be a quick single there. And looks like Hamish Rutherford was doing the instructions as to who should field that ball rather than chasing after it himself. 22 for 1. Sterling's on 3 and on strike, and Yates is into double figures. He's on to 11.
Striking at nearly 200, so it's been a really good start from Yates, and it's just relieved, just let Sterling just to be able to just settle. He hasn't got off to a flying start like he normally has, but with Yatesy going like he has, it means he can just not worry about it.
Well, they're ticking along around the required run rate as things stand. And not too much fancy dress on show today, being a Thursday afternoon. Clearly everyone has been a little more refrained than usual, and maybe the beer's not been flowing quite.
I thought we might have had a few people dressed as the Queen, given it was the Jubilee weekend.
And no, I've not seen any of those.
We've had one rendition of God Save the Queen. Apart from that, it's been quite quiet.
Yeah,
but a superb crowd.
Yeah, it's really good today, isn't it? I've not seen any traffic cones either. There were a fair few traffic cones the other week, but nothing so far today. The Holly's looking incredibly busy away to our right-hand side. Look, they're all busy keeping abreast of what's going. Is that someone in a Villa shirt as well? I think it is. Well, we won't hold that against them too much. 22 for 1, 3 overs gone here, and Mike's going to get a second over then from this Birmingham end. Oh, look, they're giving us a wave on the camera.
Oh, nice in his first over, a good bit of pace. So
there's a fair bit of breeze out there, actually. He's got the breeze going with him here, Mike, as well. But Yates has just cut that away into the offside. It's going to be a single. Ball moves on to 23 for 1. And Yates growing in confidence all the time. He's on to 12.
The breeze is actually in a slightly different direction to usual if you're looking at the Union Jag in the distance. So generally on the camera from Pavilion it will blow left to right, hence why Ollyhan Dolby will generally take it, the new ball at the far end to aid his swing. But it looks like it's actually coming across the ground right to left today, so slightly different. It's also almost helping the Bears to go towards that shorter boundary.
Change in the field for Paul Sterling. Well, he's reinforcing the leg side, so an indication maybe we're going to get something short here from Ben Mike.
I'd imagine either short or slow ball into the pitch. But I've been quite off with my guesses today, so I'm not sure.
I didn't want to mention that. 2 men on the leg side boundary then, and that one is into the pitch and short, and it's just going to be a single.
Yeah, I think it may be a little bit of a slower ball as well.
Maybe a leg by, but no, nothing doing from Ian Blackwell. 24 for 1. Sterling on to 4. Serene 4 from 7. Yates is on 12 from his 7 balls so far. Another 129 required to win. Remember, Leicester were held to 152 for 9, despite at the 16th over they were 126 for 6, and you thought they may push on from there, but only 26 runs added in the final 4 overs. That's a good shot from Yates.
Going to run away for... No, he hasn't quite got enough, and it should be cut off.
I think it is. No,
he has gone for, yes. In fact, it's going to be quite painful for that fielder going across the AstroTurf.
Well, it was a full ball, and he managed to squirt it out just behind square on the leg side. Another boundary for Rob Yates.
Almost a Yorker length ball, but he's just erred onto his pads, and he's just managed to get it around the corner and enough bat on it to beat the fielder.
I was going to say, it felt that there wasn't quite much on it, was it? Inside half
that's
of the
very inside. They might have even gone through his legs. Looking on the replay. That's one of those as a bowler. He's nailed his Yorker, and you've just got to say, what can I do?
Yates is on to 16, going well, 28 for 1. Slower ball that's short, picks out the fielder.
Yates waits well for it and just pulls it out to deep square. He's been very, although he's gone for 15 now, Ben Mike, I think he's been quite impressive. Good pace, changed up well, variations have been good. Not often you're going at nearly 8s, 9s, and you actually feel like he's bowled quite well.
Yeah, Scott Steele was doing the fielding out there, and they're changing field again here. They're leaving Steele out there for Sterling on the cover boundary, but they're in a deep square leg again. bringing a man into the circle on the leg side. So that plan to Sterling only lasted one ball last time. 2 balls remaining in the fourth over, 29 for 1. Sterling does go onto the leg side, just gets a single. Maybe it was a tempter, but he kept it down well, did Paul Sterling. 30 for 1. 1 ball remaining in the over.
Nice platform this of the Bears. I think the Leicester were only 22 at the end of their fourth over, so we're nicely ahead of where they were. But they had the good partnership in the middle, so we've got to make sure we capitalise on this good start.
Yeah, these two have already added 20 for the second wicket after Bethel was out with a score on 10.
And that is 6.
It's all the way. Big shot from Yates. He moves on to 23. A huge 6. A little bit flatter, maybe, that just gave Steele a moment where he thought he might be in luck, but that was well over the boundary rope. The big hit from Yates. He's on 23, score 36 for 1.
It was almost a cross between, it looked like he was dipping down to almost log sweep. Didn't quite have the length, so just almost swivel, pulled it and went with it. It was a cracking shot from Yates. Kind of maybe went to premeditate something, wasn't quite there and managed to adjust. And yeah, like I said, it was hit very flat, but went 5-6 rows back.
Well, he's taking his opportunity here, is Rob Yates. He did go down onto one knee as he hit it. Absolutely he did, but it's well over the ropes. Naveen Al-Haq to return from the Birmingham end. 7 off his first over, but he's going to have another crack at Paul Sterling here. 36 for 1. Start of the 5th. He got plenty of it, but he's getting no reward for that one.
And sometimes it just goes like that. But with Yates going, well, striking at 230 at the other end, he can get away with it. And at some point he'll beat the fielder and he'll be okay. But it's when you're batting, you keep hitting the fielder. To have the guy at the other end going off like Rob Yates really helps, because then you're not getting stuck as a team. That's almost where Leicester were at this position. Everyone kept hitting the fielder.
Another chorus of God Save the Queen goes around Edgbaston on this Jubilee Bank holiday. Oh, Sterling has got plenty of that. And he's got plenty of Naveen Al-Haq on the left arm as well, I think.
Slow ball into the pitch. Sterling's picked it and almost baseball batted it, flat batted it straight back at him. And
show no pain, he says as he walks back past the umpire.
Technically, it goes down as a drop catch. Yeah. But I think it's quite harsh to say.
Well, we can see his face on the camera as he's heading back towards his bowling mark, and boy, did that hurt.
Yeah, he's hit that very hard. I think that's one way you're trying to get out of the way rather than actually stop it.
Yeah. I think he may have actually got his hand to it. I thought it was arm to start with, but it was definitely the left hand.
Whatever he did get to it is going to be ringing.
He's okay. Is anything broken? Just a little sore. Hacking again. Sterling gets this one. He's got plenty of it this time round as well. And it's bounced literally inches before the boundary rope. And Sterling gets his first boundary. And he moves on to 9. And the score to 40 for 1 midway through the 5th over.
I think Sterling's just starting to set for a slower ball and then assume he's bowling a slower ball and react to the quicker one if he does. Because majority, first over he bowled quite a bit of pace on, but pretty much every ball this over has been a slower ball. So I think he's just starting to set for the slower ball.
Field on the move again. Everyone on the offside is inside the circle. The 2 fielders that are out are at mid-wicket and backward square. And it's going to be Sterling to face again, and then he just delicately guides that one to the edge of the circle. They'll take the single. 41 for 1. He's into double figures. He's on to 10.
It's been a good start here for the Bears. I wouldn't say they've bowled particularly badly. I think they've played some really good cricket shots, and like I just mentioned, I feel Sterling's setting for the slower ball, and that's almost negating the threat of Naveen Al-Haq, who's so good with his slower balls and got a bag of tricks. But if you're setting for him, sometimes you can just make it that fraction bit easier.
Well, there's 2 balls remaining in this, the 5th over. Been a decent power play so far. 40 was the score for Leicester at the end of the power play, so the Bears have already surpassed that.
Changing the field again. They've gone 2 out on the leg side, so you can expect this to be into the pitch somewhere around Yates' hip.
And Yates is on strike, the left-hander. Turned around the corner. Well run, that. Decent single. only knocked that, 4 or 5 strips away from the one they're playing on, but still scampered through to move Yates onto 24. 42 for 1. Final ball of the 5th over to come, 111 more required.
I think we're quite a bit ahead of rate now, and we're already ahead of where Leicester were in their power play, so a really good start from the Bears, and hopefully can get somewhere up past 50 by the end of the power play.
Beautiful clear view of the distance, the BT Tower and the Cube and various other sites here at Edgbaston today, as O'Hacker's in again, and Sterling down the leg side. There's a feel for a catch from Lewis Hill, but absolutely no interest at all from our umpire Pollard. That's the end of the 5th over. 42 for 1 then, 24 for Yates, 10 for Sterling and Liam Norwell. It's been, take the wicket away, the perfect start.
Yeah, when you're chasing 7s and you manage to get going at 8s and you're already ahead of a run rate, you take the pressure off, and the lads have done it with them bowling quite well. I feel like they've bowled well. They may have just got away of a wide down the leg side. It must have been a little tickle on the 5 pad or something. But this could be a pivotal over, because you had Ben Mike who's bowled well, Naveen O'Hacker who's bowled well, and now you've got Will Davis coming on for his first over. So first over of the year in T20, I believe.
16 T20 wickets he took last campaign. And he's in. Davis from the pavilion end.
Starts off well bowled.
Yeah, it's a good first delivery. And Yates is careful. 24. He's on. Highest T20 score of 37 for the Bears. For Rob Yates.
We'll take 37-40 off him today. That will put the Bears right on track to win the game, especially if he keeps up at this strike rate.
He's going nicely in that respect. Right about 200 at the moment. You need to have a strike rate to keep pace with the Sterlings and the Benjamins and the Hoses.
Straight up.
That's high in the air, and it's Ackerman who's under it, and he takes the catch. And Yates has gone for 24. And the damage done by Will Davis, the bowler. Ackerman with the catch, and it's 42 for 2 now at the start of the 6th over.
Yeah, I think it's a slur ball there from Davis. From what I remember watching him last year, he bowled a lot of cutters, a lot of slur balls, and he's just done Rob Yates for a bit of pace, for a bit of lack of pace there. Full ball, which he's just skied straight up, trying to take him down the ground. Good piece of bowling.
Alex Davies is the new batsman, of course, wearing 71, coming in at number 4 in the absence of Sam Hain. And he'll join Paul Sterling. So a couple of right-handers now at the crease for the Birmingham Bears. Alex, 5 dismissals today, which is a record in a T20 game for the Birmingham Bears. He looks like a player who's desperate to get a big score. Obviously he hit a 29 in one of the earlier fixtures, but he's been out quite cheaply in the other 2 games. It's almost like he just feels he needs that big score just to really settle and make his mark.
Yeah, and he's one of the hardest workers I've played with. He's maybe sometimes his own detriment. He works too hard, and which may sound silly, but when you're out of form, sometimes the best thing to do is just to back your ability, and he does all the right things and he will come good. He's a high-class player.
But Davis into Alex Davies. As he turns it round the corner, immediately off the mark. They've run the first hard, but then he slipped at, I think the second was always going to be a bit risky, so maybe it's quite lucky. He slipped and took it off the table. 43 for 2.
He started nicely, timed that on really well, and hopefully this will be his first innings in the T20 for the Bears to get him going. Sterling still at the other end. We might see Sterling now trying to be slightly more aggressive, give Davis a bit of time to settle in.
Well, he's only got plenty of pedigree, of course, from his time up at Lancashire, as Sterling will just almost effortlessly just drops that into the offside, and they'll take another single. 44 for 2.
Very well bowled. Sterling just stepped away slightly to give himself a bit of room. Davis followed him, and good running from the Bears to be able to get a single from it.
When you consider he's notched up 14 50s as Alex Davis in his T20 career, far shy of 2,000 runs.
He's a high-class operator, and he will, at some point very soon, play a match-winning innings for the Bears. Hopefully today.
Well, that's what he's been brought in for.
That's well played.
That's a really good shot. Just get a single for it.
Just back of a length, he's just rocked onto a back foot and hammered it out to a deep square.
1 ball to come in the power play then. 45 for 2. Davis on 2. Sterling on 11. Power play score, as we mentioned earlier, for Leicester was 40 for 1, so they're ahead of the game.
Yeah, Davis has dragged us back well, though. They were 42 at the start of the over, so almost dragged them back in within touching distance.
I always find the Duckworth-Lewis score is quite handy to judge how you're doing, and that's 44, so they are ahead of that rate, and that's just got up on Sterling a little, and it just flew in the air for a moment into the offside, and a good over from Davis, just 3 runs from it, and a wicket. It means we get to the end of the power play with a score on 45 for 1.
Yeah, very good over there. And again, Sterling just tried to give himself a bit of room. Davis saw him, followed him and cramped him up. Some very intelligent bowling, and he if he's going to continue to bowl like that, he could be their big threat and their weapon.
I obviously meant 45 for 2. The 1 was wishful thinking on my part. Parkinson's coming back into the attack now. The power play is done. It's at this point you will probably see the likes of Parkinson and Ackerman maybe.
I'd say so, or Ahmed maybe.
Yeah. We try not to talk about Ackerman when it comes to bowling. I'm sure we'll touch on it at
some point.
Yeah, when he's got a ball in hand.
Yeah. I wonder, I'd imagine he knows, but I wonder if he knows his brother is currently making his test debut, Parkinson.
Yeah, you wonder actually.
Because your phone's taken off you around the time it was confirmed his brother was the concussion sub, as he bowls a back of length delivery to Davis, who punched it down to long on.
Yeah, it's a moment for the family, isn't it? That's for sure.
We were discussing, when does he get given his cap? As he walks on the pitch, does someone run and shake his hand, or do they wait till tomorrow morning?
It's probably be tomorrow morning.
You'd imagine so.
Yeah. And obviously at the moment England are batting now, so he'll be in the dressing room for a while. So Sterling goes big, goes straight, not quite going to reach the fielder.
And
they'll get 2. Didn't quite time that. That was sheer brute force.
That was. He's hung back deep in his crease and almost baseball flat batted it back over his head. I think he knows Parkinson's going to try and drive a ball into the wicket, so he's going to try and sit deep and give himself as much room as possible.
Parkinson's in again for Sterling. Plays it up to long on for a single.
Timed it well, but well bowled. Just cramped him for a bit of room. It's brave Parkinson bowling to the shorter side. You'd imagine most spinners will want the longer side, so it shows how he feels about his bowling and how confident he is.
49 for 2. It's to Davis, and they're going to get a single here again. And that'll bring up the 50 for the Bears. Midway through the 7th over. 50 for 2. Davis on 4. Sterling on 14. And kicking over nicely. 2 balls remaining in the 7th over. And Sterling is beaten outside the off stump by Parkinson. Quicker delivery.
Quicker delivering. I think where he's been driving it into the middle of the wicket, Sterling's hanging back. He's then just used his skills and thrown in a very good, quicker pace Yorker.
Here comes once more. Parkinson. And Sterling's gone big this time. It's up in the air. He's not got all of it. He's under the catch, and it's a catch that's comfortably taken. And Sterling goes for 14. And the Bears lose a 3rd wicket at the end of the 7th over with the score on 50.
You can see what that means to Leicester. Some big celebrations there. And it's a very intelligent piece of bowling. He's just driving the ball into the middle of the wicket and making Sterling put all the pace on it. And the way he's bowled, he's very limited on how he can play. He can't get down and sweeps that length, so it's a very intelligent piece of bowling.
7 overs gone. I think you're going to leave us now, Liam. Thank you for your company for the opening exchanges here as we watch Paul Sterling. Just didn't get enough of that, didn't time it. Easy catch for Ben Mike in the end. And a 3rd wicket down. So we've been in this territory before, chasing another 103 for victory, but 3 wickets down at 50 for 3. And we see Adam Hose come to the crease.
We do indeed, Adam. We do indeed. It's an unfortunate thing anytime Paul Sterling gets out for any side, really, because he's an exciting player to watch. But credit where it's due. Leicestershire have bowled really well. We've seen the spinners do really well. Jake Lintott in the interval told me the ball was holding up a little bit in the surface, so Leicester Foxes using that to their advantage. Here's Ahmed now, starts with a short ball, it's been pulled hard into the leg side for 4 by Davies in front of the Holly stand. A lovely shot, just swiveled on it. Wasn't a particularly good delivery, but you still got to put him away. 54 for 3.
Yeah, Davies, as we were saying with Liam Norway, you just feel he wants to get a score on the board. He's managed to 29 so far in this competition for the Bears, but he's got a lot of pedigree. But so far in the opening 3 fixtures, just not really clicked. And he'll be hoping that maybe today's the day.
Having a good day so far. As in comes Ahmed again. This is short, but can't beat the fielder at point with the cut shot. Davies earlier today sets a record for most dismissals ever by a Bears player in the T20 Blast. Ahmed in again, a bit quicker this time, worked into the onside. Ahmed himself will field. They're looking for two. Nope. They hang back, even though the throw was a little bit wild from mid-wicket there.
He's busy every ball, isn't he, Davies?
Yeah.
You know, it's a shot a ball, and then when he's run, it's I want a two. Even when a two's not plausible, he's harrying and he's hassling and running that first so quickly and looking to turn and seeing what the options are. I love a cricketer like that.
Yeah, absolutely. He puts a lot of pressure on the fielders as well by doing that. Even if it's not necessarily there, you can sometimes just create it through sheer will of force sometimes.
He's busy like that behind the stumps as well, isn't he? He's always active.
O's on strike now. Another short ball from Ahmed. It's been smashed hard down to the wideish set long off fielder. Another single to the score.
Hamish Rutherford was quick onto that.
He was. He's got a lot of ground to cover as Hamish. He's set wideish long on. That straight area. I mean, we've got Ben Mike down at long on. A bit more straightish set. O's on strike now. A bit more flight from Ahmed, and that ball's been driven into the mid-wicket area for a single. Just tempted to drop them a little bit short so far. Tended to drop them a little bit short so far, I should say. Ahmed, he needs to keep it fuller for the benefit of his team, but
better over this, 7 off it.
Yeah. With one ball to come. 96 required for victory. That ball goes down the leg side. It will be given a wide by the umpire. Easy call. Anything down the leg side, brutality.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, they're a bit more generous if there's a bit of movement nowadays, aren't they? They seem a little bit more generous in this new campaign.
Another short ball from Ahmed, and punched down to mid-wicket for a single. So O's will keep the strike. 59 for 3 the score after 8 overs. 94 runs needed from 72 balls for the Bears to win this game and go top of the North Group with a perfect record, but it looks like they're going to have to work hard to get there.
Some incentive that, though, isn't it? If you can, 4 out of 4 heading to the game against the Rapids tomorrow, the local derby, the ding-dong derby, the would you rather be a bear or a pair? Well, of course you'd rather be a bear than a pair. So it's a massive game tomorrow. To move into that with 4 wins out of 4, when Worcester, well, they can't buy a win at the minute. So
yeah, I wonder if Moeen Ali's turning out for them tomorrow.
I had a rumour that he might be back because he's always a thorn in the side of the Bears.
Yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me, really.
Parkinson to continue with a good length ball. Was a bit short, really allowed the batter a bit of time to just push that out to deep extra cover for a single. Using the surface really well, the slow bowlers today. We saw it earlier with Briggs and Lintott and Bethel. And now Parkinson doing a bit of the same. Bit more flight on this one. Pushed defensively to cover on the front foot by Davies.
England are 60 for 1, by the way.
Oh,
New Zealand
first
finished
wicket's fallen.
Yeah, it's that Crawley who's out. 132, obviously, New Zealand finished on.
In comes Parkinson again. That ball muscled down to mid-on for a single. Oh, there's a shy at the non-strikers. Doesn't connect. We'll rush the batter a little bit. Can't be ambling in T20 Blast cricket. Not at all. So, how many did he get in the end? Zach Crawley, because he was looking quite good. I caught a glance of him on a monitor downstairs. As that ball's a bit quicker, it takes a thick outside edge and good diving stop at short third prevent anything more than the single. 62 for 3.
43 off 56 balls for Crawley.
It's a shame. So close to that milestone, but he was looking very, very good a little bit earlier, leaving and playing shots with great viciousness. Another full ball's been driven just wide of the diving fielder at extra cover. Will jog through for a single. Parkinson, not unlike Briggs and Lintott, gets through his overs very quickly.
Giles took a smashing yesterday. Run for 46 from his 4 overs. Chris Lynn took him apart.
Parkinson in again. This is short and work through the covers out to the sweeper for a single. So after 9 overs, the score is 64 for 3. Ahmed's first over went for 9. He'll come back and bowl his second momentarily. Tell me about that Chris Lynn innings yesterday. I didn't get a chance to see it. How did he get on?
106 from 60 odd balls, pretty good. And he had Jimmy Neesham with him, who notched 75 off 30 odd. So
just the 106 then.
Yeah, just the 106.
He's slipping.
30, 20, 100.
He's such a spectacular player, is Chris Lynn. I've very much enjoyed watching him in the Big Bash this winter. He wasn't always fluent, but my word, does he hit a long ball.
I'm just checking I was talking sense then. Yeah, it was 106 of 66. 12 fours and 3 sixes. Only 3 sixes.
Only 3 sixes.
Jimmy Measham hit 6. But there we go. Scott Steele into the attack.
He is indeed, as that ball's worked into the mid-wicket area for a single by Hose. And that ball will move on to 65 for 3 now.
Third match on this wicket, so it probably makes sense that we're seeing a little bit more spin than we saw in the first 2 encounters.
It's slowing up a little bit.
Still very good though for a hybrid pitch.
Indeed, I'm sure. Head of turf management here, Gary Barwell, working hard. A reverse sweep attempted for the first time.
Isn't it head of sports turf?
Sports turf, I beg your pardon.
You can't get Gary's title wrong.
No, you can't. You can't
turf management.
Turf management.
That means he's in charge of grass. That would.
Turf sports, absolutely. They play the sport on the turf. Ahmed in again, another switch hit attempted. This time connected Davies, and he's placed it so well he doesn't bother running. He's got himself into an excellent position. That shot proving very, very fruitful for both teams today. A little switch hit. You move yourself from a right hand to a left hand position and smash the ball into a gap. 69 for 3.
Yeah, Davies going nicely here. These two have added 19 already. Hose is just finding his range, but Davies in particular, very impressive with that switch hit. The ability to move the hand so swiftly.
Steele to continue. This is shorter, and down the leg side there's a big appeal. The umpire is unmoved, so maybe there was a little something on it because it's not been given. Oh, has it been? Oh, I don't think it was signalling no ball. I think it was just gesturing that it was outside the line of leg stump. Maybe a little bit of pad on that one from Davies. Ahmed. And again, this is short. It's been pulled. There's 2 fielders in the deep and the leg side. That one was straight to deep square leg. So, again, just the single.
They're probably still aggrieved after Ackerman's dismissal in the Leicestershire innings, which bamboozled Colin Ackerman, and I'm sure Paul Nixon wasn't very happy downstairs.
Ahmed and again driven down the ground, down to long on. Then Mike fielding just beneath us here. And it's a good throw in to complete a tidy over from Steele. Just the 7 runs off it. 71 for 3 now for the Bears.
Okay, though, isn't it? 7 and over. It's all the Bears really need to trot along at if they're going to secure this 4th win of the campaign. And they got that with relative ease.
Yeah. Just under a week ago, they were brilliant last weekend. They need 81 from the remaining 10 overs. 81 of 60 balls. You'd back them to do it, you really would. But it's just kind of getting used to watching the Bears maul teams. So,
well, I was looking at the table, actually, and yeah, their run rate is 2 point something or other. It's ridiculous.
Very, very good this year. Now then, Ahmed in again. This is quick and flat. It's been driven through the covers. Add to deep extra cover for a single. I'm just happy to just consolidate at the moment with the odd boundary sprinkled in. As you say, Adam, that's all they need, really. The Bears just got to keep their heads.
Still no Ackerman with the ball in hand, which does surprise me.
Ahmed in once more. Lots of fly on this one. Takes a thick outside edge and is trickling away down to the deep third boundary. Is he going to get there? Yes, it is. 2 fielders in pursuit. Neither was going to get there. A little bit of fortuitousness there for Davies. But, the fortune favours the brave sometimes. 76 for 3.
Yeah, he's on to 21. And a bit of fortune in that, but he's looking very busy and he's looking nice and comfortable at this moment in time. Him and Hose together. Chance to put a partnership on.
Rayan Ahmed in again. This is short. It's been cut wide of the fielder at deep extra cover, so they should be able to get back for 2. They are. There we go. Just that boundary easing the pressure. Every over, they're managing to squeeze out a little boundary. Are the Bears just to keep themselves ahead of the game. 75 needed now.
And they're doing it without taking too many risks.
They are indeed. Davies on 23. In comes Ahmed. That ball's been turned into the mid-wicket area. Again, they jog through for another single. 79 for 3 with 2 balls to come in the 11th over.
They've already hit the target for this over. That's 8 they've taken. 29 runs added between these two now.
Ahmed in again. It's been smashed. That's gone a long way. That's a huge hit. Into the 7th or 8th row. The stand on our right-hand side. That's a big hit from Adam Hose. And it's been appreciated by the crowd here at Edgbaston. 85 for 3. Hose on to 14 off 9.
There's bunting, there's flags, there's 4s and 6s being waved in the air. I was saying not too many in fancy dress today. We thought we might see a few Her Majesties turning up today.
There's a bunch of people in Hawaiian shirts out there. There's another big shot attempted this time. There's a big appeal for LBW and it's been given. Ahmed going a little bit quicker and flatter this time. Hose looking for an identical shot. Misses the ball. Bang in front. It was an easy decision for the umpire. And the 4th wicket falls now for the Birmingham Bears. Just as things were easing off. Birmingham now 85 for 4 with 11 overs gone. So 68 needed off 54. It's all about holding your nerve.
It was a great over in the sense that they'd taken 14 from it, but maybe did Adam Hose need to go down and try and sweep in the manner he did for that last ball of the over from Ahmed? He could have just played it out comfortably, but it's plum, isn't it? I mean, he's completely missed that, and that struck him in front of middle and off, you would say. No hesitation from umpire Pollard, and he's on his way. And, well, here was the hero of the hour the other night, Chris Benjamin, into the fray.
He was absolutely outstanding with a 68 on Sunday last weekend.
I say the other night, I keep getting, I've forgotten what's night and what's day, and I'm really struggling with the fact today's Thursday.
It is Thursday. I know, it doesn't feel like a Thursday. But
we're not when we're here.
No.
If it's an afternoon, we're here on the weekend. But
yes, that's right. Not in the evening. I know. Cricket's all over the place at the moment. Adam, but don't worry. We're going to hold it together for you. Now, Chris Benjamin, this is very exciting. We talked to Liam Norwell a little bit earlier about, what brings people into the club, what keeps people, excited about the club and engaging with it. And it really is performances like the one we saw from Chris Benjamin a couple of nights ago. I've done it as well. It wasn't a couple of nights ago. I've done it. You've got me doing it now. Right, Davis in for his second over. His first one was very, very good. A wicket and 3 runs from it. He's going to bowl that. Davies to Davies.
It's 68 runs from 54 balls.
In comes Davis, and Davies just works that into the mid-wicket area. They take the first one quickly. Looking at a second one there, Benjamin quite busy. Opting to stay with a single. Mercifully for me as a commentator, it's going to be Davis to Benjamin now, rather than Davis to Davies, because that's a minefield.
There's a great crowd today. Lots of kids in here. I think at the end of this over, we're going to go and find out who the fan of the match is as well once this over's done.
Wonderful. The Selco fan of the match.
Indeed.
Wonderful. Did you see what I did there? Chris Benjamin on strike, marking out his guard.
I'll set you up. You go for the finish.
There we go.
Fine.
There we go. The new 2 Ronnies. In comes Davis to Benjamin. This is short. Benjamin has a big swing at that. He misses, and there's Ben Mike appealing down at mid-on, but he's kind of alone in that appeal.
They must have brushed something, because they didn't give a wide for that, despite it being down the leg side, did they? So maybe it did brush off the thigh pad. I mean, it was one bounce through to Lewis Hill behind the stumps anyway, but Davis had a really good first over, and he's following it up here.
He started well, hasn't he? And he comes now. Chris Benjamin. This is short again. Benjamin just waits on it, plays it with soft hands to point and runs through for a quick single. Very intelligent cricket that from Chris Benjamin. I mean, they've got the time to do this. Of the Bears, they don't need to go. They don't need to do anything silly here. They can accumulate. They can, play a little bit watchfully against the likes of Davis. They don't want more wickets to fall right now. A lot at stake, of course. In comes Davis now. That ball's been worked off the hips by Davies down to mid-wicket. And they run through for a single. I tell you what, Adam, I do not begrudge the umpire to have to listen to these edges and little flicks and things like that, just because it's so noisy here today.
It is. You can hear. I mean, we're obviously tucked away in our soundproof box, but we can hear the noise that is coming through, and it's very noisy in the Holly stand this afternoon.
It is, isn't it?
Great atmosphere and a beautiful sunny day.
In comes Davis again. This is short. It's been guided off the back foot. Can't beat the fielder at short third, and there is no run. Building a little bit of pressure here are the Leicestershire Foxes. They'll be desperate for a win themselves. One from their three, quite a spectacular one against Yorkshire.
Yeah, decent win to get the better of Yorkshire.
Yeah.
65 runs required. After this, we're down to 48 deliveries, so good over from Davis.
And he comes as a short again, another pull shot mistimed by Benjamin. Just sort of fends it away into the leg side. They run through for a leg bye, and that is the end of the over. Davis follows up his first over where he went for 3 with another one that only goes for 3 and the leg bye. And the score is 89 for 4, 64 to win off 48 balls. You still fancy the Bears to do this?
I think at this point you would.
Yeah.
This is a standard. Well, this is not even a standard. This is what you would probably describe as a comfortable T20 run chase.
Yep.
But this is T20 cricket. As we say, everything can change very swiftly. 64 required, 48 balls to come.
Yeah, there's still plenty of batting to come as well with the likes of Carlos Brathwaite.
Well, the other night, Carlos just accumulated 23 not out from absolutely nowhere.
Without really a shot in anger. Now then, Benjamin on strike. In comes Ahmed. Reverse sweep attempted. It's gone up in the air and the catch is taken by a diving fielder. He had a bit of ground to make. He's taken an excellent catch. And Chris Benjamin, the hero of the previous game, has to go, looking to force the pace a little bit. That's a 5th wicket down for the Birmingham Bears. 89 for 5.
Yeah, trying the reverse sweep. Didn't come off, and he's paid the price for it, Benjamin. A rare failure in a Birmingham Bears shirt. Out for 1. And 89 for 5. Carlos Brathwaite's coming in. Still 64 required. And it was it was a quicker ball probably, and a good catch in the end that was taken by Rishi Patel. And the skipper's out, and he's just dwarfing over Alex Davis. But, I mean, this is the point where Alex Davis, if he wants to kind of get that score to kind of make his mark and make his print in the side, this is the time to do it. To lay anchor. What's he got? 26 at the moment. And just say, with Carlos, you play around me. We need not much over a run of ball.
No. It's, as you say, these days, this is considered pretty regulation, 8 and over.
The wickets is what's becoming a slight worry, isn't it? 89 for 5.
It is indeed. They just need to settle a little bit, do the Bears. Now then, Ahmed into Brathwaite, starts with a short ball. And Carlos sort of mistimes this down to long on. So powerful as Carlos's mistimed shot goes a long way. They get a single, 90 for 5.
You've got the right man's out there, isn't he? The captain. I mean, I did ask Liam earlier whether when you're only chasing a 150, you don't need to go as hard in the power play. But he said that's how Carlos wants us to play our cricket. Regardless.
Ahmed in again. This is short. It's been cut to backward point. No run again. Yeah, he's injected a lot of aggression and positive energy into this team as Carlos Brathwaite. Very popular last season as well with his teammates. In comes Ahmed again. This is short. Again cut in identical fashion to the same fielder. And there is no run.
What you don't want at this point is Davis to now get frustrated, because he's hit those two quite well, but he has just picked out the fielder. It's the frustration that often leads to those silly dismissals.
Ahmed in again. This time the ball's been cut again in identical fashion, but this time just in front of that fielder at point, and it feels beats the sweeper deep in the covers in front of the Holly stand, and that's a boundary for Alex Davies. He moves on to 30, scored 94 for 5, 59 required of 43 deliveries.
And the frustration didn't get the better of him. He just went, okay, I've hit it twice well. I'll hit it a third time. Highest Bears score. He's got 29 previously. He's on to 30 this time. Last ball of the 13th over. And again, no need to do anything rash.
Swept into the leg side, and that's going to run away to the boundary as well. Finding the middle of his bat at the moment is Davies. He's on to 34. And the Bears 98 for 5 after 13 overs. 55 runs required from the remaining 42 balls to secure a victory that will take them to the top of the North Group. They just got to hold their composure, and they'll get there. Pleasing, I'm going to say 70% of the attendees here at Edgbaston today.
They're currently enjoying status quo. That seems to be pleasing them tremendously.
I had a little chat with the DJ downstairs. He's got some great tunes on him.
Well, I get the impression that the Hawaiian shirts are the rowdy part of the Holly stand. I only guess that because they seem to be up on their arms singing and dancing at this moment in time.
And Parkinson, he's bowled 3 overs, 1 for 18 so far. In he comes to Brathwaite. Starts with a loopy delivery, which Carlos just pushes back to him on the bounce. Bump ball. You get the feeling this might be the over just to be a little bit cautious and not be too aggressive here. Parkinson, and again, back of a length this time, and Carlos Brathwaite just shuffling in his crease and pushes that wide into the vacant mid-on region for a single.
I mean, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? Henry Brooks has come out but didn't actually face the ball. We've not seen Brooks, Briggs, Lintott or Miles with the bat in hand at any point. So the big boys have done the work and the heavy lifting so far.
Indeed. Parkinson, and again, once more just pushed wide of the bowler in that vacant mid-on region, and they'll take another single. With that single, 100 comes up for the Bears. 100 for 5 off the 13.3 overs. In comes Parkinson again, and this time a little bit quicker, almost squaring up Carlos there, who waited on the back foot and just punched that down the ground, long off for a single.
My maths tells me that's 81 balls, isn't it, for the 100?
81 balls for the 100, indeed, yeah. Very good with your mental arithmetic, I've got to tell you.
I'm trying.
Oh, you're smashing it at him. In comes Parkinson. That ball's again pushed with soft hands into the vacant leg side area. He's run very quickly as Davies and Brathwaite, and they put that pressure on the fielders and get back for 2. Excellent bit of cricket there. Good communication between these two out in the middle. 103 for 5 for the Bears. 1 ball to come in the 14th over.
That's superb running, isn't it? Superb running, superb understanding. And that's what I say. I think having Carlos out there with him is the perfect moment now.
Yep.
Because he will just calm Alex Davies down. Says, look, do your thing. But actually, as long as we get a boundary every over, we can milk the rest of them. Just play the bad ball.
All they got to do. Another quicker, flatter one from Parkinson to finish. It's been driven to mid-on. Now, I don't think anybody told Parkinson that they weren't running for the 2 because he chased that ball down like Usain Bolt. But in the end, it's just a single, which they walk through for. So, 49 runs required to win this game from the last 6 overs. And will the Bears get there? Well, Adam Bridge will take you all the way home. And I shall make way.
Thank you. Tifa will be downstairs at the end of the game, of course, to speak to the player of the match and also to the captain, Carlos Brathwaite, as well. We're a little way away from that just at this moment in time. There's a few tense faces in the crowd. There's a few wearing some rather nafty Bears hats. And I'll tell you what, it's lovely to see plenty of Bears shirts out there, plenty of yellow as well. 6 overs to go, then 104 for 5, 49 required, just 6 off that last over. Ben Mike is back into the attack from the Birmingham end. And Davies is on strike on 38. And Liam Norwell, he's getting that score that we hoped he would.
He is. He's playing very nicely. And hopefully he's going to be the anchor to take us home. We've it's a game on here. Really tight game.
Mike from the Birmingham end. And there's the ramp shot. And it's a ramp for 4 from Alex Davies. Well, again, getting that boundary off the first ball of the over. Absolutely crucial. And there's us sitting here saying he doesn't need to do anything silly. But he just went for it.
It's one of his shots, so I think we've seen it throughout the tournament so far. He practices it and he backs it. But for boundary off the first ball, just relieves pressure, and it means if you knock the next 5 round for singles, you get 9 off the over and you're right on track.
And I mean, I was just saying to Atif that probably having Carlos out there with him now is probably perfect because he will provide that calm head just to say, look, we literally need 6,
exactly.
6.5 and over.
Yeah, he'll probably provide the calm head, and also Alex will know that he's got probably the biggest hitter in our squad at the other end. So if it does come to shove, you've got someone who can clear pretty much any boundary in the world at the other end.
As we get to see, obviously, Henry, Danny, Jake and Craig with a bat in their hands this season. And that's really how you want it to be.
Exactly, and it'd be lovely if none of them have to pick it up today.
45 more required for victory then. Mike is in. Davis, who drives, and they'll run through for a quick single. I mean, that's the other thing. The running between the wickets has been very good. These two, a moment ago, just turned what was a one into a very well run two.
Yeah, Davo's
just
very
putting that
quick.
pressure, aren't they?
Yeah, Davo's very quick, and Carlos has got extremely long legs and can cover ground very well.
He looks like he's ambling, but he's not.
No, he's not. He's definitely not. No, he gives the impression that he's not moving quickly, but with the long legs and the power he's got, he's actually moving at a decent speed.
109 for 5. Mike into Brathwaite. Almost effortlessly plays that up to long on.
He's had a hit that's so hard with such little effort. But again, it's I mentioned earlier, good pace from Ben Mike. But just Carlos into a position quickly and just drove it down to mid-on for one. We were 43 off of 5.5 overs, so that's 43 off of 39 balls. Is that right? No, 33 balls.
There's still a little bit of work to be done. We don't lose another wicket just yet. Alex Davis just has a little swipe at that outside off stump. There's no run.
It might have been a slightly slower ball. Alex threw a shot a bit too quickly there. I'm not sure if Leicester are behind on their rate because we've got Ben Mike running back to his mark. So I don't know if that's going to become a factor. I'm not sure what the cut-off time is.
We'll see the cut-off time pop up in a
You
moment.
won't often see someone running back to their mark in the 15th over unless they were tight.
21 these two have added for this 6th wicket so far. Mike is in. Davis cuts uppishly and he's going to be out, is he? Yes, he is.
Good catch.
So very good catch by Rishi Patel. Not the first one he's had to take. And Davis is the man out with us for 43 with a score on 110 for 5. Onto 110 for 6 now. 43 more required for victory. But Davis has gone for 43.
Yeah, I think it was a bit of a slow ball into the deck there. And he's just done it with a lack of pace. I think he thought he set up for full pace delivery just to run it over the top of Birdman and Point, but with lack of pace, it's just looped over Point's shoulder, and Patel's taken a very good catch, running away behind himself.
Well, Henry Brooks is coming in. He's got a high score of 31, unbeaten in this competition.
Henry can bat. He's got he hits the ball hard, and he's got a very good hand-eye. I was slightly surprised he's come ahead of Jake Lintott. I think Jake will be very slightly surprised about that as well. He still hasn't quite stopped talking about opening with Chris Gale during the winter.
Oh, and
the innings last year at Kent.
Against Kent, yeah, which, what did he get, 41, wasn't it?
Something like that. It was very good striking.
Anyway, Brooks is on strike, 110 for 6, first ball. Just looks for the one. Carlos was coming for the one, but there is no run, and that's the end of the over, 110 for 6. So a good over in terms of runs because the 6 runs came off it, but they did lose that wicket of Alex Davis, and it now means 43 is required off the last 5 overs.
Every time we've threatened to have a good over, Adam Ho's 6, out next ball. Alex there, 4 few singles, and then he's out. Every time we've started to have a good over, they've just managed to drag it back with a wicket. They bowled very well. You've got to give them credit. They've summed up conditions well, and they've made it difficult for us.
And is that because we are pushing too hard, or we don't? Because we took 14 off that over that Adam Hose was out, and you kind of just went, well, we've got 14. Do we need to be trying to sweep for a boundary?
I get what you're saying, but if you can turn that 14 into a 22-24, that could end the game there and then. And that's the way Carlos wants us thinking as an outfit. He wants us to be ultra positive, to always take the positive option.
Yeah.
And that was just dropped into the leg side for a single to take the score over to 111 for 6.
I understand that philosophy when you're setting. When you're chasing, I'm not sure if a bit of...
shot.
That is a great shot from Henry Brooks. It's only going to be one, but he struck that really nicely.
Very nicely. I know it was a friendly the other night, but Henry batted at 4 or 5 in the Birmingham Bears against the League 11.
Yep.
And he got a few runs, and Henry can bat. He's got a couple of 50s in first-class cricket, and like you say, he's got a top score of 30 in this, so he's definitely got ability.
41 more required. 4.4 overs remaining. We could be in for a tense-old finish because there are 6 wickets down here. Brathwaite again turns it onto the leg side. I think they'll be looking to see Ahmed out, obviously. That would be handy. Callum Parkinson's already bowled his 4 as well.
So I assume you'd be looking at Will Davis to close from one end.
Yep.
And a mixture of Mike and O'Hack from the other end.
Yep.
And Henry's out. Oh, he's not. Sorry, I thought he'd run straight past that. But he must have, with his long limbs, been able to keep his back foot in.
Yeah, I think they attempted the stumping, but umpire Pollard not having a bar with that
Bit
one.
of a ugly shot from Henry. I think he got himself a bit stuck there. And ball just spun away from him. I think the big thing for Henry here is just to try and, it's easy to say, but stay as calm as possible and just knock it round. You've got the Carlos at the other end, and it's still what the run rate, required rate isn't anything over the top at the moment.
2 balls remaining in the 16th over. Still 40 runs required. Henry's gone this time. Yep, he has gone. Big swipe, no contact. And it's another wicket for Rehan Ahmed, 3rd of the game. And Henry Brooks has gone for 1. And the Bears here 113 for 7.
Yeah, this is, if you look at the Leicester innings, this is the 16th and 17th for their 2 big overs. They went from 113 for 5 to 137 for 6. And we've kind of done slightly the opposite. We've lost wickets and not managed to score runs. So it's a big moment of the game and a big factor. But we've got Jake Lintott coming in, who's going to be confident, who's going to back his ability. And like I said, he's actually opened the batting in T20 cricket this winter, and he had runs at the end of last summer. So he's no mug with a bat, and he'll be hoping to stay out there with Carlos and guide the Bears home.
Well, we're in a scenario where 40 runs are going to be required potentially off the last 4 overs. So we've gone from needing 6.5, 7 and over to suddenly 10s. And that's this clutch of wickets. I mean, that's the good thing. Potentially this is the last ball of spin that they're going to have to face. And it's coming from Rehan Ahmed. And
yeah, we're 9 for 2 off of the last 11 balls, which has really obviously slowed us up and taken the run rate to where it is.
Lintott turns that into the leg side. They'll run the first quickly, but it will just be 1. Means Lintott will be on strike when we start the next over. At the end of the 16th over, 39 more required. It's 114 for 7 with 4 overs remaining. 39 runs from 24 balls is the equation. It's fairly simple for the Birmingham Bears to record a 4th straight victory at the start of this Blast campaign. A lot will be on Carlos Brathwaite here. 6 off of 7 balls. Naveen Al-Haq is coming into the attack from the far end. He's got 2 overs remaining, so you expect he maybe will bowl out. And then Ben Mike's got 1 over. Will Davis has got 2 potentially as well to come from this pavilion end.
And I wouldn't be surprised if you saw, maybe not this over, but definitely the 19th over, where we're hitting for short boundary targeted. I think probably going to try and take it deep next couple of overs. Just if bad ball, hit it, but try and get runnable. Hopefully 8 and over, and then leave yourself 24-ish off 2 overs with 1 to the short boundary.
Jake Lintott is on strike from the Birmingham end. It's Al-Haq in outside the off stump. Fenced at by Lintott, and there's no run.
Crowd have come alive again.
Yeah, they certainly have. All around the ground, plenty of colour, a Jubilee celebration this afternoon. We are back here, of course, again on Sunday. The Notts Outlaws are in town. We had a bit of a disaster against them last year, didn't we?
But we did turn them over at their place, and not many teams do that. So
we did. Lowest, I think it was our lowest score ever in T20 cricket against them last campaign. But they got beaten the other night by Lancashire Lightning as well, didn't they? So I think now in the best of nick. So they'll come here on Sunday. And of course, would rather be a bear than a pair tomorrow night.
Of course you would.
That's the big one.
That is the big one. And hopefully we can knock off these 38 runs and take some momentum, keep the momentum going and go into tomorrow night. But obviously we've got to focus on right here, right now. And the occasion is 38 off of 3.4.
Certainly is. 22 balls to score 38 runs, 115 for 7. And I think there'll be a lot of thinking being done here by Colin Ackerman and Naveen Al-Haq as well, because they know that A couple of lusty blows from Carlos Brathwaite.
Yeah, it
and
looks
that's
very
game
different.
over.
I can't imagine he's going to give him much pace to work with. I assume there'll be a lot of slow balls here.
Captain on strike then. He's needed right now. He's on 6 so far, and he's just going to get a single.
Smart bowling, slow ball into the pitch. No width and no pace to work with.
It does seem to be getting tougher to bat out there as
and that
this
might
has gone on.
And that might just be, it is the third game on this pitch. Like Jake said at the interval, it is sticking a little bit in the wicket. The sun's been on it is also going to be a factor. So, and they've got bowlers who do bowl a lot of cutters into the middle of the pitch, so it could just be playing into their favour. But at the end of the day, it's still, if a cricket pitch on its third outing can still bring you a 160 score, it's a belting cricket pitch.
Lintott on strike. 21 balls remaining, 37 runs required. This one's going to the wire. Naveen al-Hakim, Lintott. The short ball looked like it was down the leg side, but no. Just marked up as being the bouncer for the over by umpire Pollard. They seem a little bit more lenient on that this year. If it's a short ball is just drifting down the leg side, they don't seem to be calling him.
No, I think it is a tough game a lot of time to be a bowler T20. I'm not going to say that as a bowler, but you are seeing a bit more leniency, and I don't mind it for one, but it would have been handy if that had been called a wide.
Yep, would have been very useful. 2 off the over so far, 116 for 7. Lintott, it's gone big with this one, it's up in the air, he's going to be out. And again, the catch is taken by Rishi Patel. He's having a good day in the field. Lintott's gone for 2, and the Bears lose an 8th wicket with a score on 116.
Yeah, it's just been done with a lack of pace over slow ball again. Really need just someone to stick with Carlos here. Carlos will be the man to win it for us. It's got Craig Miles coming in now, who's no mug with the bat, but there's going to be a lot of pressure on his shoulders. We've just got to hope Captain Carlos can, like you said, a few lusty blows and get this game going in our favour, because at the moment we're looking at an uphill battle.
Yeah, it's a tough ask. 37 off the last 19 balls. They've just got into a rut. When you consider at the end of the 15th over, it was 110 for 6. So we've only had 6 runs from the last 11 deliveries. I mean, prior to that, we were 104 for 5 as well at the end of 14. Yeah, Lintott's got the outside half of the bat. It's like you say, no pace, comfortable catch for Patel.
It's very smart bowling, but it's very smart. You've got to give credit to the bowler. It's very smart bowling, but could Jacob just look to try and knock that into the offside for 1 and keep the scoreboard ticking?
And leave the big hitting to Carlos Brathwaite.
And
Miles, he's got a toe end of that. It's not going to be out. It's going to land safely. It'll be a single, but it means that Miles keeps the strike with 3 overs to go. 117 for 8, 36 required. The run rate now 12 and over.
Yeah, there's a tall ask from here. Then Mike to bowl his last over, I think. The only thing that might play into our favour is Naveen al-Haq is holding his hamstring a little bit. But you've still got Will Davis, who's bowled very well to bowl with if he was to not bowl again.
It's 2 off that last over, which doesn't help the situation, that's for sure.
Desperately need a boundary early in this over.
Should I say? He's 117 now. So he's 36. And it's going to be Mike. 3 overs, 2 for 27 so far from Ben Mike, and it's Craig Miles that's on strike. Some heroics needed now. 36 from 18 balls. Short. Slower ball.
And
not marked as the one for the over, it would appear.
No. Looked like it was definitely above his shoulder height, but again, it's very hard to tell from here. But he's well bowled, well executed, and Craig was through a shot far too soon. But again, lower order batsman, you never tend to play the short ball as well, so it's smart bowling.
As you say, Mike has been knocking it through around the 84, 85 mile an hour mark this season. He's in, Miles straight back down, he's drilled it to him, and he's gone.
Catch.
That's a terrific caught and bowled from Ben Mike, and Craig Miles makes his way off, and the Bears 117 for 9, and it's all going wrong.
Yeah, I don't think Craig Miles will hit a better ball than that, and it's just gone straight back at him and stuck. But you buy your luck as a bowler. He's bowled very well, and he deserves a bit of luck, and that's what you get. The ball before was an excellent delivery, and he's probably mis-executed there, but he's brought himself some luck, and Craig's hit straight back at him. And now it's not looking great for the Bears, to put it politely.
The last 5 overs have seen 28 for 5, which is the problem. Here's that caught and bowled again. Yeah, I was going to check if he actually grabs it or whether it ends up in his midriff rather than in his hands.
No, straight in his hand.
Straight into the hands. And Danny Briggs is out. Now, we saw Danny Briggs in the Championship at the end of last season.
He's no mug at number 11. Obviously, bats number 8 of the Championship team, scored vital runs last year, including that Championship winning game where he launched Jack Brooks for a number of 6s and 4s to get us to that batting bonus point. But it's a tall ass to come in and go from ball 1 here. I think his job will be to get Carlos on strike and hope Carlos does something special.
Mike is in to Briggs, who just gets something on it. That's the key, to get Carlos on strike.
I think it's hit him with the shoulder. Yeah, leg by. But like I said, the key is to get Carlos on strike here, and everyone knows what he can do. He's done it in the World Cup. He did it for us a couple of times last year with big hitting against Worcester, against Nottingham away. So this would be something very special if he pulls this off. And if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be him.
Yeah, well, I think he's looking round as if to say, where are these gaps?
Again, I think very similar to last over. He's not going to have any pace to work with. I assume Mike will be on a lot of slower balls.
Boundary is well covered around this leg side. Mike is in, 4th ball of the over. Carlos just tries to run that down to 3rd man. Doesn't beat the ring though, and it's just a single.
Well bowled, but you can see what Carlos trying to do there, use it and to run it down to 3rd man. But it's well bowled, it's directed straight at the chest, and there's not much you can do from there. It's been very impressive display from the Leicestershire bowlers so far.
Danny Briggs only faced 1 ball, the new batter. He's on 0, of course. Carlos Brathwaite is on 8. 119.49, 2 balls remaining in the 18th over. Briggs has carved that forward. It's just going to drop short of Ackerman. Well, we haven't seen Ackerman with a ball in hand, which
hasn't been needed,
was quite
unfortunately.
surprising. No. Of course, he famously took that 7 for 18 in 2019 against the Birmingham Bears over in Leicester. Not needed today, though. Work's been done with the ball by Mike with 3 wickets and Rehan Ahmed with 3 wickets as well. Brathwaite on strike, cuts that one away. Just going to be a single. Shy at the stumps, but they don't bother because they know giving away singles is absolutely fine at this stage. End of the 18th over, 121 for 9. Just 4 off it, and it means there are 32 required off the last 2 overs.
Important thing for Bears that Carlos stays on strike, but like I said, Leicester aren't going to be fussed by singles at this stage. This is the big over to the shorter boundary. This needs to go for you, Phil. 15, 18 to give us a chance.
Well, if anyone can,
it's that man right
Carlos
there.
can. He will look to that leg side probably. Having a look at the field, it's well enforced, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got everyone back on the leg side. You've got deep square, cow corner, long on, long off, and a deep cover. Although they are now changing that. Deep square is coming up. So that says to me they're going to bowl quite a bit outside off stump and try and make Carlos fetch it.
Yeah, we've got 3rd man and fine leg inside the ring as well as the fielder at square leg. Back is in, straight down the ground from Carlos. It's going to bounce twice, and well, they're not rushing for a second.
No. I think they weren't sure whether to take that run or not.
He looks frustrated, Carlos Brathwaite.
I think that was exactly where he wanted it, and he just didn't quite get hold of it. Yeah, a bit of confusion there. I'm not sure Carlos wanted to take the strike, but take the run. But I think at this stage, I know Carlos is one who's going to hit the boundaries, but until you're in the last over, you've got to take every run available.
11 balls remaining, 31 required. 122 for 9 as things stand. And Danny Briggs is on strike. He's got 1. Naveen Al-Haq has the ball in hand. Short. Briggs outside the off stump. We'll swash at it. But there's no contact.
You see what he's trying to do. He's trying to get it up, and we've got someone on the pitch.
Well,
you see what Danny was trying to do there. He was trying to get up and over 3rd man fine leg, as that is where 3rd man, as that's where the fielders are up, but unfortunately did not get any contact on it.
Well, it's a long run,
It is a long
diagonal run. Not too sure the purpose of it, in all honesty, but
Well, he's nearly off a pitch, so at least we can carry on.
what I was going to say is just run diagonally across the entire infield.
And then held his hands up and put his hands behind his back before.
And now he'll be ejected.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure what the purpose of that was, but
He's got himself a nice little ban and a fine, so.
yeah. 1-2-2 for 9. 10 balls to go. Briggs facing. Gets something on it, so it'll bring Brathwaite on strike. Shoulder again, maybe.
I think it is, yeah. Yeah, leg buys.
Yeah, another leg bye for Danny Briggs, who's getting a bit of treatment here from Naveen Al-Haq.
He's going to have a few bruises, but he won't care if Carlos gets us over the line.
30 required then from 9 deliveries.
Desperately need a couple of boundaries there.
We've just gone a little bit wrong. Since that 15 over mark, we've had 13 runs scored.
You got to give credit to the bowlers. Leicester have bowled very well, but at the same time, it's not been the best batting display.
Al-Haq is in, Brathwaite's on strike. No run there. Going to be fielded in the covers.
Oh, is that a no ball? That is a no ball.
And it's a no ball and a free hit. Well,
that is just for luck we may need.
So 2 runs to the total, moving it to 1-2-5 for 9. 28 now required. And Carlos is at will to do what he wants with his ball. What he will do, who knows? Probably sizing up the best options, but
Well, hopefully he gets us out the middle and it gets him going. There's a free swing and Bears are just hoping, praying for a boundary off this ball.
Carlos with 10 off 12 so far, struggling to get going. Here's the free hit. And he just carves it up to long off.
It's well bowled. He's got it right up there towards the block hole, giving him no leverage with his arms, and that's all we can really do with it.
27 then required off the last 8 balls. And we're in the territory of Carlos having to do something very, very special here when we get to the final over.
We're in the territory of Ben Stokes World Cup.
Yeah. That last over probably will be bowled by Will Davis, I would suspect.
You'd imagine.
Naveen Al-Haq in from the Birmingham end.
Oh, that's a wide. Always got it over.
Just got it away. How far away? What are they going to do? Turn for 2 potentially here. And they do.
Excuse my poor commentary there. I thought Danny was going to be having nothing to do with that.
25 required. 128 for 9. Briggs is on to 3. Brathwaite on 11. 7 balls to go. 25 required. Do miracles happen? So far this over, 7 runs have come from it. 28 for 9. Just some field placings and tweaking being done by Naveen Al-Haq. 1 for 22 so far from him. Briggs is on strike, just needs to get that on ball for a couple, really, if he can. And that's gone up in the air for Danny Briggs. It's not quite going to reach the boundary, but it will fall so they can return for 2, which means Carlos Brathwaite keeps strike. The runs required comes down to 23 off the final over, and it's 130 for 9 with 6 balls remaining.
Yeah, Danny just sat back for the slow ball, expecting it. Again, a bit like Paul saying earlier, a bit of a baseball flat bat. But like you said, the main thing is that Carlos on strike. We need 23 needed, and Will Davis to bowl. He's bowled very well today for his first outing of the season.
Yeah, it's 2 overs, no men's, 1 for 6 so far for Will Davis. Long conversation between Danny Briggs and Carlos Brathwaite. Probably the one thing he's probably saying is, we can't run ones.
No.
We can only deal in 2s.
Even numbers from here on out. So what have we got in the field? We've got deep back of square leg, cow corner, long on, long off, and cover. So expect slow balls into the middle of the pitch.
Davis then, 6 balls for the Bears to win it, 23 required. Carlos Brathwaite is on strike, and it's full. And he's got an outside edge for 4. The perfect start.
Just for luck we needed there. Thick outside edge, but flies away.
With the power that man possesses, it's no surprise.
No.
Any bit of the bat, it flies away.
Strange option from Davis with this field set. I thought he'd be going slow balls into the pitch. He's nailed his Yorker, to be fair to him. But with this field, he's got no margin for error, and the edge runs away. 19
required off of 5. Carlos Brathwaite is on to 15. Can the captain deliver something extra special to take us over the line on this bank holiday Thursday? Long conversation again that's just taken place between the bowler and his captain. Davis in once more. This one's shorter. Brathwaite's gone big.
He's got
all of it. All of it for 6 for Carlos Brathwaite.
Slow ball into the pitch, almost baseball-like, just slammed over long on. Great shot from Carlos, and it brings it to 13 off 4 balls.
Cometh the hour, cometh the captain. Carlos Brathwaite moves on to 21. It's 10 off the first 2 deliveries of the over, 13 required from 4 balls.
And that's prompted a change in the field. So we've got deep square coming up, I think. We've had point thrown back. I can't see who's coming up. Deep square's coming up, so I think there's going to be a change of tactic. With this field, he has to try and bowl wide Yorkers, I'd imagine.
Well, I think we saw then, if he gets it all, there's only one
place it's going.
I thought it was coming in our direction, to be fair, just for a moment. Can Davis do to respond? 10 off the first 2 balls, 13 required, 4 balls remaining. Davis in to Carlos Brathwaite, and moves around the crease. That was outside. That they won't run because you just can't deal in singles. No. And it's 13 to win with 3 balls remaining.
His great reply from Davis after being slammed into the stands. Executed his wide Yorker, and not really much Carlos can do with that.
12, of course, would be a tie.
It will be. This ball has to go to the boundary, you'd imagine, for Bears to be able to win it, because they're not going to take the single, unless it's a 2.
Is Danny Briggs just saying, why don't you trust me? Carlos just resets himself. Good response from Will Davis. Brathwaite on strike. 13 required off 3. You could cut the tension with a knife around Edgbaston. That's a full wow, and he swings and he misses. Good ball from Davis. Nothing on it from Carlos Brathwaite. And now the only hope is either a no ball or that Carlos can hit 2 sixes and produce the tie.
It's well executed wide Yorker. You can even see the keeper is now back on the ring, which is not something you see every day. Sometimes you've got to take your hat off to the bowler under this pressure. Bowling against that man to be able to nail 2 in a row, wide Yorkers, got to take your hat off.
13 required, 2 to come. This has got to clear the ropes.
And it does.
And it does. And it clears the ropes by some distance from Carlos Brathwaite.
Quite incredible shot, over extra cover. Just giving a little bit of width, and he gets his arms through it. And then we're heading to 6 for a tie.
146 for 9. 16 have been taken off the first 5 balls of the over. And now Will Davis is receiving every piece of advice in the world. As we look again at that 6 from Carlos Brathwaite, freed his arms up. And, well, that's huge. We've had the advice from Naveen Ul-Haq. And Ackerman is, as captain, giving his 2 penneth as well right now. Carlos Brathwaite knows.
He has to clear the ropes.
Yeah, clear the ropes. And the match is a tie.
Oh, you can't say T20 Blast lacks drama. There's already been a couple of ties this year. But Rose's game was a tie. And now we've got this going down to the last ball, 6 for a tie.
He's on to 27, is Carlos Brathwaite off 18 balls. 146 for 9. And again, more conversations taking place. This time, I think Ben Mike's got involved, but he's just walked away. Deep conversation between Ackerman and Davis about where to put this last ball.
I understand everyone wants to get their 2 pence worth, but he's now 2 Yorkers in a row. Yes, he mis-executed that last ball. Surely just back your own skill. You don't need this conversation. These can sometimes actually just make it worse for the bowler because you're just prolonging it and he's thinking more and more and more about what he's got to do. Whereas you've got Carlos, who's chilled as anything, just tapping the pitch, waiting for the ball to come.
Well, Ben Mike has come to join in the conversation. Hamish Rutherford was also there, giving his 2 penneth. So only one bowler out of them is actually giving any advice to Will Davis. And they're going to make a few changes to the field, which we would assume he's going to go outside the off stump.
I assume he's got to try and execute the 2 wide Yorkers that he had on balls 3 and 4 of this over.
Here we go then. Final ball of the match. The Bears need 6 to tie. And if ever there's a man that can deliver a 6 with the final ball, it's Carlos Brathwaite. Davis is in. Brathwaite gets underneath it, but it's not going to go all the way to the ropes. It'll just be a single, and the Bears will finish on 147 for 9, and it's a victory by 5 runs for the Leicestershire Foxes over the Birmingham Bears. And Liam, well, a finale that we weren't expecting, and he gave it a good go in that last over. 17 in that final over, but
he gave it a great go, but the damage was done in that middle period where we went from 104 for 5 to 124 for 9. That was where the damage was done, unfortunately, but Captain Carlos gave it his all, and I think you've got to take your hat off after the way we got off. We got off to a great start in the power play. You've got to take your hats off to Leicestershire because they dragged it back well, and their bowlers have won them that game.
A first defeat of the season. We talked about a successful chase last time out, of course, against Durham, but this time round, just not quite able to get over the line. And I mean, if you have to take any learnings, what would they be?
I think it's just that little period in the middle where we were going quite nicely and we kept losing wickets. Did we need to play those shots? Could we have just tried to bat time and support Carlos to give ourselves wickets in hand? But that's T20 cricket. You know, I know the boys would rather go down swinging than not give it a good crack. So sometimes you just got to take your hat off and say the other team outperformed us today. And that's 2020 cricket, I'm afraid.
It is. Head bowed from Carlos Brathwaite as he makes his way off down beneath us here at Edgbaston. A huge crowd leave, a little disappointed then, looking for that 4th straight victory. They restricted Leicestershire to 152 for 9, but the run chase ends with a score 147 for 9. Brathwaite in the end finishing up 28 not out. Danny Briggs was 5 not out. Alex Davis top scoring with 43. Rob Yates made 24, Paul Sterling 14 and Adam Hose 14. Everyone else single figures, and it was that clatter of wickets around the middle that caused the problems for the Bears in the end. And it means their first defeat of this T20 Blast campaign for the Birmingham Bears and Carlos Brathwaite and his side. And they will go on, of course, to face Worcestershire. It's their second win for Leicestershire as well. They've beat Yorkshire and now they've beat the Birmingham Bears as well. All that, of course, despite a terrific bowling performance earlier where we saw a wonderful bit of bowling from Jake Lintott, who picked up 4 wickets today, 4 for 27, which I'm sure will probably gather him the Player of the Match award. And as soon as that is given to him, of course, we'll be downstairs with Atif Nawaz. Liam, pleasure to have your company. Hope you'll be back in Championship action a week on Sunday.
Hopefully so. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Liam, absolute pleasure to have Liam Norwell alongside us today. So not the Bears' day today. A victory for the Leicestershire Foxes. A first defeat of the campaign for Carlos Brathwaite and his side. But as I say, you will hear from the Bears' Player of the Match, who I suspect may well be Jake Lintott, the Talbots Player of the Match, with Atif Nawaz. We are back with our live stream, of course, in Bears Den TV on Sunday for the game against the Notts Outlaws. And the Bears, of course, go to the Worcester Rapids for the local derby tomorrow night. But until Sunday afternoon, when we're back here at Edgbaston, look after yourselves. We'll head downstairs to Atif Nawaz.
Well, not to be for the Birmingham Bears today. The Leicestershire Foxes have won the match by 5 runs in the end. Very close defeat. Jake alongside me. I mean, it's a tough loss to take, but they did play really well.
Yeah, it's obviously really difficult for us to take that. We'd have backed ourselves to chase that. But yeah, we perhaps weren't quite where we should be with the ball and bat. So, you know, fair play to Leicester. They've played better cricket than us today.
At the halfway stage, you did say, you know, the ball's holding up in the surface a little bit. The spinners were going to be quite key. Where did it sort of go wrong with the bat for the Bears?
Yeah, I just feel like we've lost quite a few wickets at key times, and that's hard when you're chasing a score on a wicket that's perhaps holding. So, yeah, credit to Leicester. I thought the spinners bowled really well in the middle and made it tough for us. And yeah, obviously we've just fell short there.
Yeah, they did play really well, but for a minute there in the last over with 23 to get, it did look like Carlos was going to do it. Did you think for him, you know, did you have that moment of belief that he might make some magic happen?
Well, anything's possible when he's at the wicket, but I think, you know, it just showed we probably could have done with keeping a few wickets in hand there and supporting him a bit better. And if we'd done that, we perhaps would have got over the line. So a little bit disappointing from a batting perspective, but we'll go again tomorrow night, obviously straight back on the horse and go from there.
Absolutely, back in action tomorrow at Worcester, hoping for a win, and then back here on Sunday again. Notts. It's quite a grueling schedule, 3 matches back to back, but plenty of chances to make a comeback straight away and a big statement.
Yeah, exactly. It's a long tournament, and if someone had said to us you'd take 3 from 4 at the start, we'd have snapped the hand off. So we're in a great position. We go to Worcester full of confidence still. We're still that same team. We're still really confident in our abilities, and yeah, we're looking forward to tomorrow night.
Fantastic. Well, commiserations today, and go well, Jake.
Thanks very
Thanks
much.
so much.
Cheers.
Thanks. That's Jake Lintott there talking about the match, and he bowled very well himself earlier. Of course, figures of 4 for 27, but the Bears just couldn't hold on to their wickets, couldn't build those partnerships, and couldn't get over the line. But as he says, on we go tomorrow. The Bears are away to Worcestershire, and then Sunday they'll be back here, and we'll be back here with coverage of the Bears when they play the Nottinghamshire Outlaws on Sunday. Until then, from all of us here at Edgbaston, good night, everybody.